wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, it's Clinton's getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Wiki leaking, now your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, it's Clinton's getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Wiki leaking, now your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth rich.
I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Wiki leaking out your dome into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. We wanna be rich. Energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I whip that beat out like Michael Obama.
We already have it with
I got that
Obama.
big
So
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip them thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step at me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got that clit, bitch. Hung like a llama. I'll whip that dick out like Michael Obama.
Cosmic conspiracy about Stanley Kubrick, moon landings, and the CIA? Go visit nasacomic.com.
NASAcomic.com, CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick put us on, that's why we're singing this song. I'm NASAcomic.com, go visit NASAcomic.com. Go visit NASAcomic.com. Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com. Oh, NASAcomic.com, CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick put us on, that's why we're singing this song. I'm NASAcomic.com, go visit NASAcomic.com. Go visit NASAcomic.com. Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com.
Never a Straight Answer is a 40-page comic about Stanley Kubrick directing the Apollo space missions.
Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com.
This is the perfect read for comic, Kubrick, or conspiracy fans of all ages. For more details, visit nasacomic.com.
The deep they lurk, like twisted water dogs. In shadows they smirk, down in the rivers, out in the seas. Masters of the deep, dolphin mysteries. Bottlenose freaks, short beaks in the night. Humpback pygmies out of sight. All the dolphins, you know it's true. Rolling deep in the ocean blue. Stripes and spots, they rule the tide. Water dogs of the deep, they don't hide. In the river's grip, seas endless bounty. Ruling the waves, dolphin Illuminati. Praised by Romans, gods to the Greeks. Underwater rulers, the power peaks. In ocean depths, their counts to 6. Dolphins in the dark, never calling it quits. Striped and spotted in the sea's domain. Aquatic dogs in their own insane lane. Through rivers they ride, seas they roam. In the ocean depths, they make their home.
Well, I talk about insanity, which is what's going on in your mind, and outside, which is where you communicate with us outside. As you know, if you give too much of your insanity, they'll lock you up. I tried giving as much as I could. They didn't lock me up. They published it, paid me.
Dolphin, Illuminati. Deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas they be a constant mystery. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. Deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas they be a constant mystery. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. It's that dolphin, Illuminati.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Constantly explore the view of possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, winners, bigger mistakes, entertaining, calling linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mischief making. It's okay to change your thinking. Good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves. Happy Friday night and welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. If you are finding us anywhere on one of our YouTube channels, on X, on Rumble, please hit the like, subscribe, and tell a friend, because we are always shadow banned, but we are just here to have a good time. So without further ado, because this is a birthday episode, and so we have a special rendition that Layla's been working on for the real president of the United States. So, Layla. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
Daddy, Mr. President Trump. Happy birthday to you.
Whoa! Girl, that was sexy.
Bravissimo.
That was a mic check too.
I was creaming
Yeah,
my
just,
pants
just
over
a,
here.
just a tad.
Wow. And yep, we are past the 10-minute censor mark, so Abby can say creaming her pants.
Already hot.
Damn.
I can't believe I
Layla,
had the
you know how
balls to
to
do
freaking
that.
work me up.
Girl, I love it. Anytime, girl. Just let me know. Just let me know. How you guys
Happy
doing?
unbirthday. Oh,
A
you
How does that
very,
know.
song
very
go?
unbirthday to you.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
very,
How you
very
doing?
unbirthday to
Birthday
you.
And you?
to
You?
me.
To
To
you?
you.
We're going to talk a little bit about birthdays. Donald Trump might come up because it is his birthday, but I also find it interesting that it's Flag Day today. Future proofs
sex,
past. So, little Florida
sex.
flag, little Okie flag. We all got ties on.
This looks like the Arizona flag.
We got dressed up for the occasion.
Sunset.
Yes.
We got
I just
dressed
realized
up.
tonight that I'm never really gonna wear a tie until somebody dies. That's my wearing a tie.
Really?
Not
Yeah.
even
Ties
a
are
wedding.
great.
I had the whole shirt on and everything, and I'm just like I was getting triggered from every job I've ever had where it was
Mhm.
military,
Get
and
it.
it just made me
Yeah.
hate hat. Like it starts to feel like a freaking cable tow a little bit.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
can't do it because I sit outside and it's hot out. I'm not wearing a button up. Nah, not doing it.
I'm
Same.
not typically a tie lesbian. It makes me feel just as queer to be in a tie as it does to be in a dress. I don't know how to explain it to people.
What about suspenders?
I don't know if I'm that faggy. I think it's cute on people. I just feel like like my boobs are a little bigger than you'd think, and so suspenders accentuate
I like
boobs. I
suspenders.
think. Yeah, they look cute if you want your boobs accentuated.
You could pull a mean like Gordon Gekko
Braces.
off though, like an angry 80s business mogul.
Like full done. Like what was the not just Wall Street, what was the other one he did where he was like the dude who lost his mind? He was Michael Douglas and he just like lost his
Oh.
job. He like shoots up a fast food
Oh,
restaurant.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Game?
Anger management?
Falling
No.
down.
Falling down.
Falling
Yeah.
down.
I forgot
That's
the
it.
name.
Yeah. I do kind of feel a little like that. Like I've done a lot of coke. I'm 80s Wall Street. I have led like a young Charlie Sheen. I'm trying to prove myself. Feel. I'm gonna have a sweat ring in this, and this is gonna be like yellow within the end of the week.
Doing a line off of people's
That's how I feel
asses
in the coke.
and shit.
Yeah, or in the coke in the tie.
The tie?
All you
Oh,
need is a
yeah.
nice cigar.
That's why I'm wearing a tank top.
Yeah.
You could
Yours
roll up
is
that
red
blunt.
tie. Abby's is red tie club.
I mean, the OG tie is a red tie, like because it came from King Louis the 13th because he hired a bunch of Croatian mercenaries to do his dirty work, and when they showed up in their like traditional mercenary gear, they were using red pieces of cloth to like tie their jackets on, and he liked the style so much he turned it into like a thing.
A thing,
But that's
yeah.
kind of the basic premise of why we wear ties today to work, is because King Louis hired a bunch of Croatian and Serbian mercenaries, and they were wearing ties.
And isn't there also a story that there was like a mine, maybe in like northern Pennsylvania, maybe in Pennsylvania somewhere, and the government stood down on the mine. And so there was like Chinese workers and white workers and black workers and everything. So they tied a red bandana around their neck so that they all knew they were on the side against the government. And they were like one of the first places that like where you hear the company store where there was like, and I owe my soul to the company store. They had done this so frequently to their employees for so many decades. So it was all a redneck. So they were like those were the original rednecks, was this red tie that they all tied around their neck. So I just think it's also interesting the red tie being that red neck again.
That was
Like
the
maybe
same story with Tombstone. The cowboys out there that were going against the Earps all
wore a red sash so they would distinguish themselves against the law.
Hmm. So maybe there is like a demonization even to red neck. Like maybe there's some kind of power for us to have red on our neck or on our head, and the elite don't want us to know about it.
I don't know. I've seen some crazy shit down south. I mean, I legit saw a man with the reddest neck ever with the tattoo on the back of his neck saying redneck. And it was like the redneckest thing that you could possibly see with a redneck having a redneck tattoo on. It's just fucking hilarious.
It's pro
He's got, like, a
You
labor.
just sit there and like,
lemonade in hand.
how meta. Did you like have a
Legit.
simulation implosion? You're like, how meta, a redneck with a red neck.
With a redneck tattoo on that said redneck on
Oh,
it. Just like, what the fuck?
That must have hurt. I just gotta say,
it's like
Oh,
a
getting
yeah.
fractal.
tattoo on a red neck, holy hell, man.
What?
Uh-huh.
Well, another
This
thing
doesn't wake up.
ironic is that they would put a lot of the like redneck and they'd be like racist, racist, racist when all the other words that go with certain races usually have to do with the fact that they're workers.
Yeah.
And redneck is the fact that you're a worker for a white person. You're going to have a redneck. It means you're in the field, you're on the boat, you're on the tractor. You can't get a redneck unless you're a worker.
Yeah, because you're
So it's
bent
a
down
way of
doing
like
whatever
putting
task.
down, it's like they're putting workers against each other, even with their words.
But that's how, like, because it used to be like if you were tan and you had any kind of bronze to your skin, you were seen as poor, second class.
Yep. That's why
That's
they
why they
wanted
liked
their brides
blue,
back
freaking
home.
white ass skin. Yeah.
They
It's
wanted
kinda
white
funny 'cause-
brides. They didn't want tan brides. They wanted them white as fuck, not in the sun. Meaning, like, if they were out, that means, like, you know, they weren't like a good girl. Like, if they were indoors and not doing anything reckless, she was a good girl. So they wanted a white,
The
non-tan
virgin
bride.
color.
Yeah, my ass.
Like even if everyone's exactly the same skin
Like my
color,
ass, literally.
we figure out ways to like separate each other just based on how many hours you've been in the sun versus
Yeah.
somebody else. So it's kind of funny. Like there's no end to it.
There is no end. But now, like, tan is sexy.
I love being tan.
It just looks better on everyone.
It looks healthier.
Unless they're orange, like
You look
like
healthy.
Daddy Trump. It's not
Orange
necessarily
man
attractive.
bad. But aren't we all shades of orange? Like the human race are just all spectrum of the orange, like color wheel, Chaney, right? That was you who like came up with that.
I don't know. The Urantia book that I talked about before, it said that, like, going back to the rainbow of it all, said that there was every color race. Like, and you see it, you know, like they say that Asians are the yellow people, right? And the Native Americans are red. Like, it's kind of interesting when you think about it.
Chaney,
Certain
pull
people
up the
from India
orange
have like a greenish
color. Just so people can have an idea of what they see, because this is like the darkest burnt orange is like a nice brown color to the lightest of pale, which is like a pale, you know, white woman. Like this, like from yellow, like different tones of yellows to orange. It's just the whole scale of like our complexion is on the orange spectrum. It looks amazing when you look at it. Look, all of it. It's all orange. That's why orange man bad. Like, what are you talking about? All of us humanity? And you reptilians are fucking green skinned, scaly motherfuckers hiding underneath that skin suits? Like, what? You
It
guys
is
are
opposite
perfect?
on the green is opposite on the color spectrum too, on the color wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, that's interesting.
Green and red are opposite. Orange and blue.
Oh, okay.
Our orange sun, and we're all different shades of orange.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get fed by this thing.
And usually if you see someone that has blue skin, they're dead. And if it's green, then they're like, you know, decaying in
Or
front
overdose.
of you. So
Or overdose on colloidal silver.
That's what I was thinking.
I've seen that guy. He was great.
Smurf
He was in
syndrome?
my town at the store. I was like, what the fuck?
You saw that
Totally
guy?
overdosed. Yeah, I saw a guy who was like
Oh.
definitely overdosed on colloidal silver.
He wasn't the Papa Smirk dude with
He
the
was
white beard.
No, he was completely gray.
Wasn't there a documentary on some like cult leader and how
Mother
they
Love.
fed her? Like,
Yeah.
Mother
there you
God.
go.
Mother God.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
I feel
goodness.
like I think that Mother God documentary was going to be the next step. That's where the QAnon blended in for the insurrection because that Mother Love, they were all Trump fans. They were
I
all
love that
QAnons.
part. I had no idea there was like a hippie commune aspect to QAnon. Like it's wild.
I think that's where because so many people in the Anon movement were talking about moving off grid and talking about doing all these things. So I think they had to make it look really crazy. What is that?
The moon.
Yeah. I was
Just
like,
like
what is that tiny little light?
I'm just giving her the
The
finger.
moon. This is so off
I'm
topic. I
fingering her a little
apologize
bit.
to the chat ahead of time.
It's
But I have
inappropriate.
to
It's
tell you
okay.
guys a funny story speaking of inappropriate. So, my wife was sending, like she was off yesterday and I was busy. I was running around with friends in real life, internet friends in real life. And my wife sent me a picture of like her cat Shark Week laying between her legs, like he do, like cats all like lounged out. And then, like, as the day went on, she sent me another picture, just snapped it and moved on about her day. And I was like, B? Like, she didn't mean to at all, but I didn't know she didn't mean to at first. And she, like, the way she was sitting and she had like these terry cloth shorts on and like the way the cat and like she just like lazily snapped the picture and went back about her life, but it was so naughty. It was so naughty. And I was just like, babe, I cannot believe you sent me that picture. I was driving in car with children. Like, she's like, because she didn't know it was a naughty picture. So when she went and looked back at it, she was like, how would
holy
you even
shit.
notice that? And I was like, how could I not notice it? It was all I noticed.
Oh my goodness.
So it was just so funny. I was like, you sent me a picture of your pussy and the cat.
Hey, you want some pussy?
Yeah, it's just so funny. So sorry to get so off topic, chat, but I had to share that
Listen,
because
pussy is great to talk about. Like
my wife's so modest and she doesn't. So
just
silly.
pussy.
What about Roseanne Riggs? What do you want to know about Roseanne?
Like the Roseanne?
Like Roseanne?
Roseanne.
Roseanne?
Roseanne Barr?
Isn't she a little cuckoo right now? They saying she cuckoo a little bit.
Because she's a staunch Trump supporter. Maybe that's why they're saying it. I don't
That,
know.
They
but also like
always
rapture talk
say
and all
they're
that,
crazy.
and like
Wait,
the
Raptor talk?
Rapture, like
Oh,
Christian
okay. I thought you were talking
Christianity.
about like
I thought
dinosaurs.
she
That
was
would make
like
cool.
super into dinosaurs. Like
No.
that would be awesome.
like that's
Raptors.
cool if people want to believe that they're gonna get raptured. That's totally cool, but I think that's just like bananas.
I think it already happened.
This shit
Yeah.
is bananas.
Like all that's in that book is like proof of things or just stories of things that have happened. It's not things to come, and people are waiting for like this grand thing to happen. I'm just like, why do you guys want to get raptured? Like why it's supposedly it's a good thing, I get it, but like why would you want, like, that makes no sense to want to like die, like wanting to die. Isn't that
It's
what
not.
it is ultimately?
No, it's not
No.
dying. Because like 2 people in the Bible were also raptured. What is like Elijah, maybe
Elijah.
Enoch or
Yeah.
somebody? I don't know. But anyway, they were taken up too. Just taken up.
And
They'd never
Jesus.
died.
That's what Muslims believe.
But
that
Jesus
Jesus
died.
was
Yeah.
raptured.
Yeah. But Christianity believes he actually was died and was crucified and was resurrected 3 days later.
What wouldn't his
Yeah.
ascension be?
Be a
kind of
rapture.
a rapture?
Yeah, but it's different because when he ascends after he's resurrected. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this is what Muslims believe. Muslims believe that it appeared to look like Jesus. So it's like the twin that everybody knows about that looks like Jesus offered himself up there.
So like Blue
This
Beam.
is this is like a theory that's going around, and that the actual Jesus was actually raptured out of here and taken and brought back to God, and
Well-
is waiting to come back for his return.
That's what's so interesting is that, when they tell the story of the rapture in the Gospels, it says that, he was on the cross with 2 other people, or like he was being Pontius Pilate had him up on the stage and was like, who do you want to let go? We're going to let one of these people go. Do you want to let go of Jesus of Nazareth, or do you want to let go of Jesus Barabbas? And
Yeah,
Bar
Barabbas.
means son of, and Abba means father. And I've always known that because that's part of my name. So Jesus Barabbas means Jesus son of the father.
Mhm.
Barabbas isn't a name like in Hebrew culture at all. So it literally does mean son of the father. So Jesus of Nazareth or Jesus son of the father. There were two Jesuses there.
Yeah.
And
And
it's,
there was-
I mean, if you all don't believe me, it's biblical. You can go look it up yourself.
Yeah. And in the show, The Chosen, they actually, you see it in the show. Like one of the guys, I forgot his name because I don't know much in the Bible, but he was arrested. But it looks like literally the twin of Jesus in there. And I think it is Barabbas that was arrested. And because there was two of them. So Jesus was arrested as the second character. But literally, even in the show The Chosen, like I even get confused sometimes when I see Jesus and Barabbas. I'm like, holy shit, they fucking look like twins. And now that I know this, I'm like, Muslims believe this way. What if this is a possibility that Barabbas actually died and Jesus was actually raptured and was waiting for his return? Because that's what Muslims believe, that Jesus will return.
This sounds a little bit like the multiple Lee Harvey Oswald theory, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Like that there was more than one Lee Harvey Oswald, that he might have had a twin, or they at least had identified people that looked identical to him.
Or like the
Like-
Challenger, right? Weren't they all twins?
Or
Allegedly.
Tibbetts, Officer
Or they just
Tibbetts
never
on the
died.
day that JFK died, and how they just happened to kill a police officer that was identical looking to JFK so that they could get pieces of his body and bury it. So because the back of his head was blown off and blown.
Worst jigsaw puzzle ever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
See,
you
and
need
you know,
worse
Is
than
that your
that.
next product line?
people will say like Jackie O stood there in the blood, and they'll be like, oh, that was because she was like showing the killer. And I'm like, unless she was the Red Sparrow, and so she was just wearing the blood, like, this how cold I am.
That's
for
what
the
I'm
whole day,
saying.
right?
Yeah. Like the different versions of the incident that you've seen. I've seen the version of the guys from the front of the car shooting JFK. I've seen the version of the guys in the middle. I've seen the version of when it looks like she did it. So it's like, which one is the original
That's the Forrest
version?
Gumping. That's the Forrest Gumping of our history, where they take all the anything that's close to the Zapruder film or anything like that, and then now it all can be fidgeted and fucked with.
Yeah, fucked with, yeah. Hard and fingered.
I was at a wax museum yesterday, and at one point, like, we walk into one room and it's like, you know, Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp. It felt like Eyes Wide Shut, like just walking into an Eyes Wide Shut meeting.
Horror film.
But I was actually walking around some of these wax figures, like, looking them up and down, entire, like, different. Like, if these celebrities were just there, these like robots, Hall of Presidents, and different than I had ever taken in these wax figures before. Like, I was sizing up some of these dudes, like, I'd rear naked choke that bitch. Like, you know, but then some of these ladies, I was like, J-Lo's ass is not that big.
No, it's
Like,
not.
It is not even impressive. Like,
No,
it is
it's not. It never
like,
has been.
no, like, I walked all the way around J-Lo, and I'm like, I wouldn't even stop on the street. I would not even nudge my wife for a chance at getting in trouble for her to look too. Like, I would not even be like, Jules, look at that ass. Like, nothing about J-Lo was stunning.
Which
Anna-
actress would do that for you though?
I don't. It wouldn't
Me,
just
Catherine
be.
Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is hot. She's
Yeah,
hot, but
she's
then
yeah.
Anne Hathaway, she was so little. Like, she was so scrawny. If an Anne Hathaway was by me, I would, like, Anne Hathaway could do no other job but be an actress. Because any other job, people would be like, Anne,
They're
are
mainly
you okay,
short.
Anne?"
All actors are mainly short that I've run into. They're all short.
All the
Majority of
dudes
them.
specifically.
that were our the hunky haul of dudes,
Short.
they all Yeah, even though they all like say they're over 6 foot, I'm like, you don't feel like a 6 foot tall something in Florida. You feel like a short 6 foot something.
I feel like Tom Cruise has something to do with this. Like he's making sure that it's like only short people are allowed in
Yeah,
Hollywood.
no one can be taller than me.
It's
You hear
it's
that?
a Scientology code.
Damn Scientology, yeah.
This reminds me of those photos of Robert De Niro wearing his like super high platform shoes everywhere he goes. I love
Mhm.
I love seeing that every once in a while to boost me.
To boost me.
Well,
Like,
like
Pull it
somebody
up.
that's even has hit the height of fame and fortune and celebrity and everything is still so insecure just about something as silly as your height, that like he's just adopted this as his lifestyle of wearing platform shoes everywhere.
do you think Joe Rogan only like hangs out with short people?
I mean, if you could afford to have the preference, I don't see why not. Yeah.
We got
You
that little
are
dick energy. We need to make that song. I'm telling you.
little
I'm
dick
a
energy.
girl, I'm a girl, I'm a girl. He's a girl, he's a
Here.
girl, he's a girl. That's a
I know
bitch right
sometimes I think that like even when you look at like Tom Cruise and he looks all cut up and everything on screen, but do you, like well he's 5'5", so is he that built? That's how I feel about Joe Rogan. It's
How
like
crazy that you sent us that fucking clip of Action Bronson being on his next show after I fucking mentioned it
Yeah.
on last
10
week's
hours
episode.
later. Yeah.
Mind blowing. Mind fucking blowing, bro. That blew my mind.
After we said that Paranoid American, this is how meme magic works, you guys.
Yeah.
Because we pulled up the picture too, and then we all took part in it, then Action Bronson. But this is the thing. We're not necessarily creating it. There's something about the ripple. This is what I kind of think about things. There's something about the ripple that you're picking up on. It's an intuitive thing more than it's like we're putting this on the timeline. Saying you're putting it on the timeline's fun, but really it's just a group intuition. And it
What did I
becomes
miss?
stronger.
What are we even talking about?
When I said that, you remind me of Action Bronson last week. And then all of a sudden, 10 hours later, on Joe Rogan, Action Bronson's on his show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Chaney showed us the video. I was like, how fucking bizarre is that? That tends to happen a lot with us in a group. With
Then I'm a
Brittany
dick.
Pose.
So anything, yeah, if Brittany posts or something, then I'll send it and I say, we run the timeline.
It's just so
Give me here.
ironic.
Secret Society of Good Guys, because we run the timeline. Here's my apocalypse thing that is a little triggering to me. I didn't know when the Four Horsemen came that it said they were going to be a hologram. And so if the plague is not real, and if the famine is not real, and if the like war is not real, so this is not Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. This is them telling you that this is the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and it's all a hologram of the Four Horsemen. So even if you are a Christian and you're waiting for the Mashiach, I think this is the exact same as wanting to walk into the ocean. You're depressed a little bit. I think
Yeah.
it's the exact same. It's not because it's not going to be better, but you have something to do here and you're missing your purpose every single day by waiting around for Blue Beam or for Christ or for World War III or for the end of times or for waiting for a president to save you. But most of the people that back Donald Trump, I would say, aren't waiting for a president to save them. They either have guns of their own or they actually believe in a higher power. And so that's what I always think is ridiculous. The people that always say that about people that believe in Donald Trump for president, they're usually the people that are faithless. They don't have community. They don't have a God. They don't even know their real sexuality. They don't know a woman is a womb.
I
And
will say
so
that
it's like,
some Trumpers, a very small percentage, are literally out of their minds. Just a little bit, like a little out there. Like they're not in the reality. Like they're thinking far fetched, JFK, all this, the conspiracy, like way deep that are even not even part of Q, but are making it part of Q. So it's just those people. It's just the kings of it all sometimes.
Now do the
You
Biden
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I just feel like, oh my gosh, there are people that still support Biden. Just at
For
that at
God's
all.
sake.
I know.
For God's sakes. Hold on. Let me ask my accountant what he thinks. Mr. Shoes, what do you think about people that still support Biden?
Well, let's.
Where's your pen?
I think there's a good discussion here. See, I'm trying to get this kind of
I know, I
politician
like that.
thing
I even
going,
like
right?
the
Yeah. Collect my thoughts. Do the whole thing where you strike poses and you act like you're being meaningful. And I already forgotten what your question was.
Okay,
Something
wait, here's
to do
another
with
character.
an
Here's
it
another
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we
here's
just
my
FBI
gotta
favorite
keep going.
character. Yeah, that you don't even
Okay.
know. Here is Gordy, Secret Service agent to Layla, the president. God Pillow Angel, President of the United States. Here's your Secret Service agent.
So give me the 411 on Hunter Biden. What's going on with him?
I don't know, but there's a sketchy guy with a tie on his head in block number 4.
Oh shit, they're onto me.
That's fine. That's fine. You can fuck him up later.
I'm
But
just-
seriously, what dirt?
I get to fuck him
What
up.
what dirt do we have on Hunter Biden? Like, did you see the
Oh.
new clips about the whole case and
I don't know
everything?
which one. One of them fucking baboons or something.
What? What?
Oh,
What is going
What?
on
That's
with
not
Hunter
out there yet.
Biden,
Oh,
Layla?
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Hunter
I
Biden
don't. I know nothing. I know nothing.
apparently charged 25 is facing 25 years. Is he really going to go to jail? I don't know. I don't believe these people go to jail really, but we'll see. 25 years he's facing for I forgot what the charge was. Was it some kind of gun charge or something?
Buying guns
What was
while
gun charges?
being addicted to drugs, essentially lying on the form. I forgot the number of the form, but every time you buy a gun, you have
But
to
that's
like
it?
check all these boxes and one of them's like, I'm not currently using drugs, and they are
Yeah.
able to prove that he filled that out while he was addicted to crack, I think.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all
And
they're
a
charging him
felon.
for. Like they're not
Which sucks
charging him
because
for
it's the
sex
worst
trafficking.
thing. Like, I think that law shouldn't exist at all. So the fact that that's the thing that's going to get Hunter taken down, it stings a little bit because they're like the one thing that I would prefer to let him off. Like, I'd rather let him ride on this particular thing.
Yeah.
A weird part is, are any of us really believing that just happenstance everybody ended up with 2 of Hunter Biden's laptops unless this homie is actually the turn heel? And I actually think it's the best turn heel. Your father was sworn in after he had your mother killed, and then you and your brother, your brother was probably killed by him too. He molested your
Sister.
sister. He slept with your dead brother's wife. He got people addicted to crack. He probably slept with Lady Gaga. Like all this kooky stuff, meddled children, did all these things. He probably fiddled you and your brother the whole time you were growing up. And so I just think that is part of the movie, is the son that has been belittled and just ridiculed. And he is a traumatized adult. You can see it on everything that he does. And then the big guy. Imagine your dad, the big guy. And it's just every one of those videos, him going through his phone and putting, I don't know how many of you guys have gone through his laptops, but this is him setting people up. This is everything in there is filmed. He is he's not filming himself because he's jerking off later to himself in an elevator doing crack. He is filming all this stuff. So it ends up on this computer for a reason. He's filming his father for a reason. He's taking these things all around. I just think he is, even this
Suicidal?
case, he could be dead to us, but this is a Rummel death. This is, he does, or like old school mafia, you give enough and then you get to do witness protection. Like he was always dead. He
I
knew
feel
he
like
was always dead.
He could be setting himself up for like the ultimate prodigal son redemption arc. Like, just imagine for a second that Tiffany Trump and Hunter Biden become a thing in the near future. Like, I feel like they'd get my vote.
What simulation is that? Jeez.
That's
I think this
crazy.
is something too that is never talked about when everybody Elon Musk hero worships. Why haven't we heard anything yet about anything being turned over from anything you found from the buying of X? You didn't find anything on there that was sketch?
Right? That's a good question. I never even thought of that until up until this moment.
That's what all those things are set up for. Think about LifeLog. I mean, Facebook. The CIA honey trap was just a honey trap for all of us, so we'd give it information. But the rest of social media isn't the exact same thing. So X and Twitter and Instagram and whatever TikTok-y, Snapchat things you're up to, those are all there just for little traps, so we give it our information. So that's what Twitter always was. A little blue mockingbird that was there so it would tell you these people were real and this is what they thought, and then enough little sheep would be like, I believe that too. And then
Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, those are my exact
Which
thoughts.
is actually one of the great, like, not to get all, kids these days, but man, one of the things that really kills me, really grinds my gears, is when people will just comment this. Or it's like, that's so me. And it's like, what do you mean? You mean this clip from a manufactured Hollywood movie that had 20 people putting on makeup and a script supervisor and a whole production? That's you? Like, that represents your essence and your certain topic is this like highly produced thing. And so many people just leverage that, where it's like, instead of even having a thought or a reaction to something, they just post a movie or a TV personality's reaction to a thing, and then they're just being like, that's me now, like, this represents me. And it's
Well,
and
and you can
they
take it-
post it with like a flat face behind too, right?
You can take it completely out of context too. Like whatever that Hollywood thing is, like whatever that dialogue is about in the context of the show or whatever, is taken out and put some other kind of deep philosophical thing on it that actually does have meaning, but it's like taken out of a 10-second clip that probably didn't mean shit to some Hollywood writer, because they
This
probably
is me a
plagiarized
lot.
it
Isn't
off
it
of
fun to
somebody
take
else.
things out of
This
context?
is me a lot online.
It sure is.
That thing is
Like,
so
But
cute.
now
Going
imagine
back
you
to
put
Daddy
that-
Trump, how much of the things that he says are taken out of context? It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
so insane.
Exactly.
You know, I didn't like
All the
Trump
things
in
we
the
say are
beginning.
taken out of context.
When I heard he was running, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what, him? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And then I just dug in a little bit and I was like, okay, little by little. And then I fell upon Q somehow. And then little by little got into the Trump rabbit hole and I fucking fell in love with him. I was like, yo, Trump. It's
I wish
different.
so much that Trump could or would. I don't think he would ever have the amount of power, but just turn Washington into a long ass episode of The Apprentice, just like an ongoing series where he puts,
You're fired.
like the two tops of something, and he's like, go sell
Yes.
lemonade, downtown. Whoever makes actually do those things and televise them and show that. I feel would be far superior to the America we've got, just because it would more reflect kind of like what we've been feeding ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, and it would actually have some sort of repercussion in the real world in some way.
Is that cricket for me? Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
I'm so sorry.
I like
No,
crickets.
it's good.
I
Crickets are
can't
good.
shoot them right now because if I could, I would.
Blah, blah.
Like, shut the fuck up. Brat, brat.
The only way
And
to
don't
kill a
forget your
cricket is
paranoid
to
American
back them
stickers.
home.
This is what is going to happen to the crickets. They don't keep it down. You
gonna
guys
make
don't
us
even know what is unfolding.
Near meat burger.
What?
Is it gonna make a fake meat burger for us?
Don't they add cricket in almost everything now? And you don't even
Yeah.
know it? Yeah.
I'm not so opposed to this. I really don't. I don't know if someone could
It's a
figure out
kryptonite.
how to make a tasty cricket protein thing, Like, how is that any worse than adding soy to burgers?
Because there's also garbage. There's disgusting things in the what's it called? Abby, creditin that's in the shells that they use for the protein that is a poison to us.
Ew.
Shit.
Right, but if you've ever had a hot dog or a chicken nugget, I don't see how cricket protein would be any worse than like the pink goo.
Oh no,
aspect.
I'm not saying it's better than any worse than McDonald's. For God's sake, no.
I'm so
I mean,
grossed
just
out right
like,
now.
what if that we could replace like killing cows with killing crickets if there was no noticeable difference to the protein intake and the taste? If let's just say that somehow miraculously they figured out how to make cricket protein taste like a burger, would you just inherently be opposed to that just because it came from a cricket as opposed to I'd rather kill crickets.
I'd rather
by the
eat a rat
tens of
like
millions,
Demolition
right?
Man.
Listen,
I'd rather eat a rat.
I get what
No,
you're
I'd
saying, but the
rather eat
problem
rats.
is that you would affect the whole entire food chain to get enough
Mhm.
protein out of a
Exactly.
cricket to sustain your protein needs, really what you should be eating every day versus like,
Well, let's upgrade it to
meat.
locusts, like those big fat locusts.
Okay,
People
but
But the
those,
locust
those
farms,
all
who's
serve
going
a
to run the
purpose.
locust
Those
farms?
are all like the bottom of the food chain. They feed the smaller animals. You know, it would affect every ecosystem.
Well, what if not if we farmed them? Like if all of a sudden, just like we've got
Yeah,
factory farms of
how-
chickens, right? We could
So
factory
how much cricket
farm.
shit would we be eating then?
Well,
Could I train
everyone
the
at a certain
head
point,
locust?
like you'll just like you've got a bathroom and a kitchen and a heater, you would also have like the cricket tube that would just like fund all of your cricket protein. I'm not selling you on this, am I?
No.
I'm listening to
Nope.
it and I'm thinking about it. Ew.
Ugh.
It seems so dry,
I know. It
And
just doesn't-
crunchy.
so
And
dry.
How
It
much
seems
butter
like if
would
you
it
ate,
take
this
to
is
make
what
it
you
edible?
do. And it seems like a lot of the times when you were talking while eating cricket, you'd be like,
Ugh.
Can you
God.
eat a cricket and whistle?
yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing. I live in New York City for a while, okay? And the type of water bugs that we have there and how many I've killed in my lifetime, just the sound and the shit that comes out of it when you kill it,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just it's
The
that it
pop?
brings me back to that idea. Yes.
Think of all that
God.
wasted food, though.
Okay, wait. I have an idea. Layla, I'm glad you gave me this time to try to sell you on my new idea of meat. I've bought the head CEO of my company and Mr. Shoes. He is
Yes, right
gonna
For our
if you just give
presentation.
him 3 minutes for this presentation.
3 minutes of your time, ma'am. That's all I'm asking. What we're going to do is we're going to take all the best parts of these locusts, and we're going to take only the choice parts of the locust to make the very finest artificial meats for you.
Mignon.
And the locust mignon. This is what we're calling it.
Mignon.
It's a French dish. We just add butter. And it
How
is
do we know you're not adding the wings and
Locust
legs,
mignon.
man?
A locust mignon.
You must trust us, sir. Trust us. It's meat. It's just as good as a cow.
Locust mignon.
So they say. Oof.
Ugh.
Who would you have
Do I
as the
look
face?
trustworthy? It's the tie that makes me
What's her name?
trustworthy.
I do think there's a funny shirt here somewhere, like Locust Farms, like USDA with like a locust on it. Like you put everything in it of selling real meat, like locally grown, GMO free, and it's
Ugh.
just a locust
Organic.
shadow on it. Yeah.
Cage free.
Tom
These are
Cruise's
wild
ex-wife,
caught locusts.
that redhead. What's her name?
Nicole Kidman.
There you go. She should be the face of that. She was.
If you don't
like,
already,
yeah.
30-second conspiracy on Nicole Kidman. Everybody should look into her and her father, who is a creepy person in Australia. Nicole Kidman can have children. Tom Cruise could not. She was hired originally to be his first beard. Anyways, Nicole
yeah.
Kid
She
man.
was also recorded on a
The
clip.
simulation always gives us the character names. Kid man.
Mhm.
Thank you for that.
She was eating bugs, bro. on fucking video, like worms and fucking crickets and scorpions and all types of shit, and said, this is good. This is what we should be eating. No, honey. No.
Hear me
They do
out.
say
Have you ever had a lemon ant?
Nope.
Okay.
I probably did in my sleep.
They're so fucking good. Like, I'm not even joking. They're so good.
This is the thing.
Really?
That's a real thing. And scorpions taste like shrimp.
I believe that. They seem better than shrimp. Shrimp
Probably.
gross me out. This is
They're
the
just not
other
big
thing.
enough.
Everybody on the planet, if you ever make shrimp for someone, if you're ever having shrimp, you never need to say the words poop vein while
Oh,
you're
that's
eating.
true.
Please.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's so gross. I
Yes.
eat shellfish and people will be like, "Oh, is it deveined?"
Do shellfish,
Don't-
like clams and stuff, have a poop vein?
They're just entirely like bleh.
Poop?
It'd probably be like the little pearl in the oyster or something. But don't mud bugs or whatever look just like scorpions?
No, they
Like-
look more like lobsters. But kind
Well,
of
they look
lobsters look like
but they do.
scorpions.
They all look like scorpions.
Lobsters and mud bugs and lobsters are
There
just
were-
kind of scorpions without the tail.
Yeah, they're just
There
aquatic
was a-
scorpions.
There was an ancient there is a sea scorpion still, I think.
The
And it's actually
biggest
called sea
scorpion on the
scorpion.
planet for a while. It was the biggest underwater crustacean was the scorpion.
There you go.
Mhm.
That's it.
That is just
Deep
weird to have
dwelling.
your bones outside of your body rather than inside of your body.
Oh, wouldn't it be
like
cool?
we do.
I think it'd be great. It'd
Have
be
your
such an
armor.
advantage.
Yeah.
That's a
That's fucking
superhero advantage,
crazy.
though, man.
But it's just mind-boggling how we're created this way, and these beings are created totally opposite.
Yeah, we're soft and squishy on the outside.
If you've got an exoskeleton, could you ever be underweight or overweight? Like, because wouldn't the
yeah, because you
exoskeleton
shed your
just be your body?
exoskeletons. You shed them. Like they
and
grow new
look
ones.
for a new one, or grow one, or look for a new one.
I know, because I had to clean out a chrome cart that was infested with freaking cockroaches, and they shed their freaking exoskeleton.
Do you think let's philosophize about aliens for a moment. If there's an infinite amount, are you an infinite amount of alien types person out there? Do you think like in that Man in Black type way that there is that like bug alien that
Do you
they
think
show
there's a
us kind of?
Balchinian?
There are. I think there's bug aliens.
That's
yeah.
close to me. That's too
I
close.
like that one.
I don't know. I think it's all bullshit sometimes. And then sometimes when I do think of them, like, yeah, there could be thousands of different types of species, monster-like things that control a species of the sort.
Did you guys see that Elon
Like
video where he's talking about eels and how he thinks eels are like alien?
Well, isn't there a
Eels?
place somewhere, I forgot what it was called, somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic where it's always hot and it never rains and it never storms, and the water in that area particularly is constantly warm, and that's where eels go back and they'll swim 6,000 miles away
Yeah.
and they'll come back and just lay their eggs there.
That's what
I
Elon was
forgot what the
talking
name
about.
is called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said
It's
it's
a
in the
weird
Bermuda
phenomena.
Triangle.
Around there, yes, right near
Yeah.
there. And they still, to this day, even doing research there, they still don't know where eels come from.
Even
They
freshwater
can't find
eels.
eggs. Yeah.
They don't have sexual organs.
That's just odd. Eels are dragons. I'm so
Well, it's-
convinced they're dragons because they
See, and
transform
I
a
had
million
a-
different times.
I used to have a saltwater fish tank and I loved it. It was awesome. And I like kept having to tell my husband, I was like, there's no way you will put an eel in there, because that was like my favorite thing to do. I didn't even have to watch TV. I just sit and watch my fish tank. But damn, I was like, no to the eels. They're freaking creepy.
They're dragons for sure.
I like the eels.
I do
Used to have
not.
eels. They were fun.
Have you ever had
Dude.
eel pudding or eel jelly that they make?
No, but I like.
I know there's
what is it? What's the
sushi.
sushi that's
eel.
eel? Uni or unagi? Unagi. Uni's the uni
Yeah,
is the
sea urchin.
That sea urchin. I had it once.
It's not. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
don't
god!
like that.
No,
No.
It's like eating somebody
smells
else's
like bile. Mm-mm, no sir.
Nope. And escargot, ew. Who the fuck is eating snails, bro?
Yeah,
Really?
I mean,
I mean, it's got to be
this
some.
is the weirdest thing, but I used to
Yo.
love frogs' legs. There was a place in
Frog legs
South
are
Florida
good,
down
dude.
the street that served the meanest. They were better than like
They're
chicken
really
wings.
good.
They're
Mhm.
oh my god, they're so
They're
good.
so good.
They're so, they never don't look weird. Like they always look like it's a big ass frog leg.
Wow, that's cool, man.
How does escargot taste? What's the consistency like?
If it's done right, it just tastes like leather soaked in butter a little bit, and you just kind of chew on it, and you just
Like
get
a
like
clam
butter.
or something.
It's
That's a
like
lot
a
of
butter delivery
seafood.
device.
Yeah, that's a lot of. I feel like shellfish is just a butter delivery device, and
Yeah.
what texture you want around it.
Mm.
Yeah, but escargot is a slug.
But it's like the same way gator, not in the texture, but it's like some things have a freshwater taste and some things have a saltwater taste. And like escargot is like an in between. It tastes murky. I don't know how to explain it, but it is just a butter delivery. And
You're
then if
not
it's
selling
cooked
it.
right, it's
So
not
here's
one
a
of the
dumb
greatest
question.
things. It's
So why
not
not drink
tartar.
fresh water or drink salt water if you want the flavor of those things? Why eat
It's
these weird animals to get that
It's like
experience?
how some people say gamey on things. It's because
Uh-huh.
or like if you like bear, like what the bear eats makes the bear meat a certain thing. What the cow eats makes the cow meat a certain thing. And so some of these animals, like what they intake and what they eat make them taste a certain way. And then how it's cooked and what it's cooked with becomes a whole nother dance.
There is something funny about. I'm sure that there's been some politician in the conservative wing that's been like, "We'll never eat bugs." You know, Soros wants us. You know, wants us to eat bugs, and then that night they're eating escargot at like their $10,000 a plate dinner, right? And it's
Or
kind
better yet, they have the special chef that switched it with the locust escargot that they didn't know was a fake meat.
If
It's just a
someone
butter
pays me, I'll try it.
delivery device.
Otherwise,
I cook my
won't do it.
escargot with like apples and onions and garlic and butter.
Garlic.
And it doesn't take
Apples?
very long. But yeah, just a few apples. It like sweetens it up a little bit. And but
have you made your own
Love meat
escargot?
with dates.
in my restaurant, most chefs will have escargot on the appetizer menu because it's so fast to prepare. So like from the time you order it, we can have it on your table in 6 minutes.
What does the a raw ingredient look like? Are they coming like?
Well, here's the interesting thing about escargot that I think is funny from the finest restaurants in the world. So a lot of the times, this is the grossest thing about escargot, and you wouldn't guess it. So escargot usually comes deshelled. It's just raw little snails, and then most restaurants put it in a shell for it's all fake. The presentation of the shell and the escargot being in the shell is fake. So the shell usually is a like real shell, but the restaurants will reuse it. So a good chef or a good restaurant, you don't want that shell.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The only time I've ever even seen it, they
You
come in like a
don't
little
want
white, like ice cube looking.
Those are
dish.
better. That's what you want it in. That means the chef's preparing it in something and then they're putting it in a plate. If they're like trying to upsell you and they're like, "Oh, look at this fancy escargot in a shell." Nah, you don't want that bacteria shell. They're putting something good back into the shell for presentation.
Are they like coming defrosted and slimy, or are they like frozen?
They come in
or
a
like,
can.
What is it?
They come in a can.
Hmm.
If I told you how much money you make off one can of escargot, you'd be like, "What?" That is like a can, like a tomato sauce can of escargot. I don't even know how many ounces it would be, but
Pre-seasoned, or like, can you just eat one right out of the can, or would it not taste great?
I bet you could. I bet you it's already partially pre-cooked or something. I never have, but
Well,
then
most
you just
caviar's
drain
in a
them.
can too, right?
Just drain it. Yeah, caviar is in a little tin a lot of
Yeah.
the time, a little like short tin. It like the better the caviar, the smaller tin it comes in.
Oh, they got them at Walmart for $5.
We're weird.
Yeah.
You can
Humans
get
are
a can
weird.
of escargot right now at Walmart.
Yep. It's just how it's cooked, really.
What made
I
us
could
think,
give you a
hey,
good recipe. You could be cooking up escargot
Oh, it
tomorrow and
does
be
not
popping
look
them on the couch.
appetizing. Not even a little bit.
like, hey, look, this fish has eggs in it. I wonder how they taste. Skloop. Oh, look, this chicken laid an egg. I wonder how this egg tastes. What? Like
Use all
an
parts of the
egg?
animal.
It just does. I don't know.
I think
I
the
don't
egg
know.
was the first thing human beings ate that sustained
Yeah.
us. When we always
Mhm.
hear
Okay.
about us eating meat, I think a long thousands of years before we ate meat, we ate egg and we would scavenge the egg and steal it from another species. And I believe, this is just my theory, that the first two things that we would steal those eggs from were snakes and chickens or birds of some fowl of some sort and serpents. So, because we're such a crude thing, anything that fed us became our god. And so the first deity being Abraxas, or like one of the first deities, this chicken body snake leg god, we just used to steal eggs from those two things. So that was just the first way we fed ourselves before we
Well,
ever learned how to hunt. I think that we just stole that protein.
This is what's interesting too. You know that the first food that they recommend, like that you feed a baby, is egg yolk. Like
Mm.
our modern society tells you rice cereal, but rice is really all the grains are really freaking bad for humans. Period, including babies. It's actually it's one of the most rice is okay, but the other cereals and stuff they'll really like constipate them and give them GI issues. But there's like every pregnant woman has the book What to Expect When You're Expecting. They made two other books, and one's like What to Expect the first year. And in that one, it talks about the first foods, and they recommend like a soft cooked, not even fully cooked egg yolk should be the first thing that you introduce to your baby, because the white is allergenic, but the yolk is not. It's like a pure protein and good fat for their brain. It's like the right ratio. So that's actually like one of the first things that you should feed your baby when introducing
Training
foods.
babies like they're freaking Rocky, just giving them like the raw egg.
Yeah, just not with the white.
If you're making good egg
Put them out in
noodles,
the snow.
I'll tell you a little tip. Separate all that egg white. Get that shit out of your egg noodle. If you just use the yolk in your egg noodle, it'll be a game change.
Rich.
People will be like, "These are the best egg noodles I have ever had in my life. What is your secret?" And be like, "I don't know. Maybe I let it dry out a little longer." But
Love.
egg yolk
I
it
did
up.
it with love. That's always the magic
That's why I like
ingredient.
It's the that's
homemade
right.
pasta too.
I sang
If
to
you
it.
make homemade pasta, it's like, that egg yolky, like orangey yellow pasta. It's good for you. It's better than the shit that you fucking buy at the store.
Yeah,
It
one of the
breaks down easier.
Mhm. It's not
foods
that
that's
hard to
local
make.
to
It's just a
Oklahoma that
messy.
everyone makes is chicken and noodles. And I was like chicken noodle soup? They're like, no, chicken and noodles. But it's like game changer when people make the homemade noodles with it. It's so good.
Mhm.
So much better. It's interesting. We call those noodles pilaf, but pilaf
Pilaf.
is rice
Yeah.
in other languages. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Why do you guys call it pilaf? They're like, it's just the name we gave it. Okay. Pilaf.
I love egg noodles. I feel like
So
even
do I.
saying it aloud, I could make that tomorrow for dinner.
Hmm
Chicken and
I like
Like
noodles.
using
roll
them
out
souped.
dough, cut it, letting
Yeah, I
it dry
saute
out.
mine with like onions, garlic, scallion, red peppers, seasoning, season that bitch up, and sauce it up with the egg noodles. Oh, some
I'm
parmesan.
I'll get
coming
like
over
a
to your house
big
for dinner.
I'll get a
Yeah.
big beef on a bone, and then I'll like let it
Yeah.
soak all day and make a beef stock. And I'll put onions in there. I'll let the fat all bubble to the top, and then that is broth is what I'll use. I'll make beef and noodles.
Yummy.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, cricket powder is one of the main things that they're adding into pasta now for like this big migration. So now I think some forms of pasta can contain up to 20% cricket powder.
Oh,
Dang
They
it,
call
that's
it
in my
delicious.
meal plan. I've got
flour.
penne
They
in
call
my
it.
meal plan right now. I'm gonna have to start checking the
Love it.
ingredients.
Love
There
I
was
want
it.
one I
cricket
posted the other
penne.
day that it was like a Welch's or one of these juice companies, and they're starting to transition over to using a red dye that comes from some weird like beetle slug
Yeah.
looking thing. I don't know how opposed to that I am though. Versus what, like red number 40 that came
I'm
out
not
of like
opposed to all
Monsanto?
the bug stuff. I just don't I want to know, and I don't want it to be in everything.
I
I'm
don't want it.
opposed to that
I'm
shit.
better than that.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
just
better
like
than
what
that.
the fuck.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
tastes
If you
Better
even
good.
than
try
that.
to hand me too small of a joint, I'm like, I'm
it's like
better
what
than
the
that.
fuck is this? Yeah, take it, smoke it for
I don't
yourself.
want your roach. The same way I don't want it in my food. I don't want to smoke it. I'll even break that thing down and re-roll it. But
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm better than that. There's too much other shit for me to eat and drink. I don't even have to fantasize about the idea of drinking my piss or eating cockroaches.
Fuck.
I
Yeah.
actually
I
spoke with
ain't
someone
living on
today
that
that-
ship. I ain't living on that ship.
I was on an interview today where somebody peed and drank it while we were on the air.
Get the fuck
Really?
out of
How
here.
I'm not
lovely.
even kidding. I'm not even
No,
kidding.
because he
No.
interviewed the dude. It's so funny because
What?
Christina P just came up in chat. We were talking about Roseanne came up in chat, and then I was saying like they always like to have their new version of the thing to move into the place for the younger generation. So the new version of Roseanne would be MTV's Road Rules own Christina P, Tom Segura's wife and so they did an interview with that dude that they would just
Two
put.
Soul Shaman, Will Blunderfield, who's honestly cool as hell, even if
Yeah, he's
his
cool.
ideas
He's
are out
quick.
there.
He like has all this shit, but he used to be one of the dudes they would just mock. But they also like walked in TikTok in this mocking culture of their show was one of the first podcasts to like kind of put the TikToks on and then be like, let's all mock it. And they even made up, instead of calling people retarded, they would call them TikToks. And so it was like they would find these things on YouTube. And so that dude was one of the dudes they used to mock. But
Okay.
then they're like, almost in a way, they're in the Howard Stern sphere. They like the whack pack, that they're like, we laugh at the lesser than. Like, we laugh at Beetlejuice. We laugh at High Pitch Eric. We laugh at the sideshow circus. And so that's where I feel like he was one of the sideshows. He's essentially a High Pitch Eric to Your Mom's House. But he actually has some real information that he's sharing that seems like legit information. But he was on their podcast and I watched it, and they first found him because he was like guzzling his piss.
You
He
know,
has a-
I was mid question.
Delicious.
I was
So-
talking to him, and he said, "Hold on, I have to pee." And we were expecting him to like get up and leave, and he just kind of like leaned forward. And like as I'm
What?
talking to him, he's just peeing, and I don't know. I
How
thought
much
it was
of this is
kind of cool.
how much of this is attention seeking?
I didn't get the vibe, man. I got the vibe that he's very genuine about whatever it is that he's doing.
He's
Yeah, but that's a
100%
very
genuine.
drastic thing. Really? Fuck, that's weird.
He's 100. He has his like he has a skincare regimen with it, and his skin's
Does he
really
look healthy?
shiny and like perfect. He
Yeah.
almost looks alien perfect. Like his skin looks like he had it done, but he doesn't look like plastic surgery. Like
So there's something to it, probably.
something's going on with him, but he looks alien in a way. Like something it hits your uncanny valley where you're
Maybe
like,
we're
I
not
can't
used to seeing
quite
that.
put my finger on it, but it's not right.
Or maybe we're just used to not seeing that, and that's probably the proper way, and we're just seeing each other like dishevel and like,
Nah,
slowly,
dog.
like,
You should look who he is. You should
I
look
was
at him and see
impressed.
what you think.
I walked
Before I
away
start
Pull
impressed.
him
talking.
up.
Yeah, pull him up. Pull him up.
Yeah, we can pull him up. What's his name again?
Will Blunderfield.
Will Blunderfield.
Blunder, because
Two Soul Shaman.
Blunderfield.
Blunder
I-
of fields.
Sorry, Will.
Blunder.
No offense. Nothing personal. I don't know you.
yeah, let's. Since we're gonna spill tea all over.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a weird
That's
looking dude.
modified, I think, a little bit.
Oh, you know who he looks like?
That's a weird looking dude. No, he looks
He looks like-
Chaka from the Land of the Lost.
There you
No,
go.
I think he looks like the
that's
czar
modern.
what's his name from Russia? That's in the glass box. That's like mummified in the glass box.
Oh.
Interesting.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. Like,
No, he's smart.
Oh, I'm
He
kinda
says
making
a lot
fun
of
of the
really. He's not a dummy, and he's
know.
not.
I
He's
don't
not
know.
a
Sorry,
dummy, and I don't think he's doing anything for shock value. He actually is genuinely lives a
Lennon.
certain lifestyle.
And
Yeah, he
very
looks just like
self-aware.
Lennon.
Like he knows that
Too
what
bad.
he's saying is way outside the norm, but he he doesn't like focus on that, or for not a second is he like apologetic about it. It's just like, if this isn't your thing, keep moving along. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll big up him is he's a weirdo, and you would never guess it by if you just caught some clip going by. This is where I'll actually big up him, even though he drinks his fucking urine. He seems like a homosexual, but he seems boxoggy, like all about like
Probably bi.
I asked him directly about Box Saga, and he was unfamiliar, so I actually
was
got
unfamiliar.
to introduce him to Box Saga today.
But he seems like a dude that he would be into, like, if you explained it to him, that he would be like, I totally get the principles of this. Like, so it's almost like when I heard him talk, I felt like this guy's into Box Saga. But he is a weird part because he feels homosexual. He's unapologetically masculine, and he feels like men are fucking pussied down, and he feels like he says these things that you're just like, okay. Like, he just feels like it's a soft society of soft fucking men, and that men need to spend more time like guttural and having time together. And and some of the stuff sounds kooky because he seems so homosexual, but a lot of the principles you're like, but that's how I feel like Igor Bach sold his thing. He was a homosexual guy that he was like, come here to my house. I'm going to show you these principles. But no, I don't know. I just watched him for a while, like in awe, but way before. And so I actually am a person who knew who he was when you were like, I have him having this guy on my show. I was like, what?
He made a really interesting point, because I was asking him like how he got into like the woke, or like the unwoke conspiracy type realm, and he started because he was a yoga instructor. Apparently, he was like one of the top yoga instructors in all of Canada, and had like a long client list of people that wanted to go to him. But in his yoga classes, he would say things like, okay, now, like, feel your anus, and like, let's release your anus and feel it go into your nipples, and then feel it go into your gonad. Like, he would go into these areas and people would be complaining about it. Like, I didn't come to the hot yoga to hear some guy talk about his like O-ring for 20 minutes. And it essentially he kind of snapped and left the realm of yoga to like pursue like, okay, who is open to this kind of yoga. And that once he did that turnaround, he was like, he noticed the hypocrisy of the yoga world, where it's like, yoga's for everyone unless you haven't got the poke, and unless you talk about this weird like sexual organ stuff, even though yoga and kundalini work kind of goes hand in hand with some of that. So that him realizing, oh, I live in this world of people that are just fake and lying all the time, and that was in like the medical realm. And then he was like, oh, I wonder if politics are also corrupt like the medical realm, where it's like so many people that I know, they start on the politics being corrupt, and like, wait, what if the medical industry is also corrupt?
Yeah, it usually is that way. First politics, then medical.
But it's weird to get woke in the yoga world, to be like, wait a minute, all these yoga people are fake. Like, that's
if I
your
was
entry
just
point.
gonna play contrarian, Bikram yoga, I believe, was also like a CIA movement, because it was just building like a whole bunch of mildewed studios in places that shouldn't have that kind of thing. And it's a sex cult like everything else, where there was like this weird higher up of things. And
Bikram?
Bikram.
Yeah,
It
it's
was like
the
a
type. It's hot yoga. So I just imagine that guy becoming like one of those shaman at these places. And I also find it so curious anytime somebody calls themselves a shaman.
Well, he
At all.
explained this part too, that the two soul. Some of this was brand new to me. It might be like entry level stuff, but the two soul shaman represented in some cultures when a man was with his wife and she was ovulating, that she was too powerful for him to even be in her presence, so that he couldn't even like stay in the same house until she was over it. And sometimes if he had sexual needs, he wouldn't be gay, so the only person that could help him would be the shaman. But these two-souled shaman, like, they would also be kind of like male and feminine, a little bit androgynous. So you would go to see the two-soul shaman to like heal you spiritually, but also to satisfy your sexual needs in a non-gay way, because they were designated. he kind of related it to like guys that go off to like Thailand and they'll like find a lady boy and be like, it's not gay, you know, like, because this is what they were made to do, this thing. And that was kind of what like a two-soul shaman was back in the day, but for spiritual readings.
Yeah, but still, it could be that. But I would still even say two-souled shaman back in the day were a homosexual guy that just wanted to get his rocks off and made up some whole entire deal so that he could hook up with dudes
Extra
and lead
step.
them into. Yeah, it's the exact same. It's just like it doesn't matter what it's called. It's just so interesting to me, like the game of some of these. And maybe his isn't a game. It might be but if it was anybody else that
Everybody
you did an
plays
interview
games.
today and I heard this whole thing, I would just be like,
Do you guys
oh,
think that chi masters are like a facade? Like the ones who can like literally transfer energy through their body into somebody else, Kung Chi or something? I
yeah,
forgot what it's
I
called.
think those people are so fake that I watch real MMA
Really?
guys walk up to them and punch them right in the throat and punch them down.
No, like actual ones, not the ones who play the facade, but the ones that are from like Asia
I
and they're
have
like
seen the
really,
ones where like the Buddhist monks or whatever, the Tibetan monks will like
yeah.
meditate in snow and like they'll raise their body temperature and you can see it melting around them and stuff. That seems
Yeah.
pretty legit.
That the control of the chi and like, you know, the energy in your body and like passing it along within your body. Like I've seen them do techniques where they're passing that energy and
Gotta
they'll
drink your
shock.
pee. It won't work unless you drink your pee.
You need
Right.
your
It does
electrolytes,
work.
man.
Yep.
It does work. Chi can be generated. It's a thing, but it doesn't work like that. Like with the
No,
martial
you have to
arts type thing.
practice and practice
It's
and
more like
practice the
it's more of a
craft.
healing art too.
Hmm.
It's not
Like
supposed to be
watching
used
them
like
heal.
that.
Like it always takes me back to that video where they're in a doctor's office and this lady has a tumor in her stomach. I forgot what part, somewhere in her abdomen area.
Hmm.
And they have a sonogram machine and they have it up and you can see the tumor there, perfect as clear as day, and it's there. And they're just, I think there's 5 or 6 doctors around this
They start
patient
chanting.
and they start chanting and you see the tumor just shrink and like disappear. That's another like intentional healing with the
Like an
words and
exorcism.
frequency. Almost.
I
You
believe
could
in
say that
tone.
too.
It can
I
be.
believe in tone destroying things. I think it happens like
It's
frequently.
intentional.
Like tone can get blood flowing or destroy cells or
We're
do
talking like Rife machine style tech, right?
yeah, and I
That
believe
too.
kind
Yeah.
of that somewhere in the idea of what now people would consider some sort of witchcraft, your village would just have a chant that the dudes would do something like throat and guttural and they would hum it at the same time. I think there'd be a healing tone that you could create. And I mean, rain dances don't exist for no reason.
Yeah.
And so I just think everything's energy like that.
Yeah. Like certain tunes when you're putting somebody to sleep or if you want to raise the energy in a room and like party it up, it's just all tone and frequency that you want to put out there. Dude, this is
Uh,
such a weird realm.
do you guys have like a birthday trauma story?
I'd probably trump all yours.
And all, yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a trauma story.
Oh,
Man.
I actually do have one now that I think of it. On 16 or 17th birthday, got crazy wasted and ended up on like every substance you can imagine. And I went over to my friend's house and he had one of those Oldsmobiles that had like the luggage rack on back, you know, like those little like silver things. It was like the perfect little handle, and we were all skaters at this point. And for some reason, it was a great idea to like, hey, let's see how fast. If I hold on to the back of this car and I'm on my skateboard, let's see how fast we can go. And I think he got up to like 30 miles an hour, which was really crazy. Like it felt like I was
Yeah.
flying. And it was a miraculous that I even survived this. Like it was probably a mile stretch, like down this long ass road. And I survived it. Like nothing bad happened. And I could have just
Holy
walked away and
shit.
been like, wow, what an experience, right? But it was like now I'm a mile away from where we started at. So I was like, okay, let's go back now and go a little bit faster this time. And halfway through, as I'm holding on to the back of this rack, and we're going like 40 miles. He's calling out the numbers. He's like, 35, 36, holy shit, 38. And I look down and I see a sewer plate just like whipped by under my skateboard. And like as soon as I saw it go by, it was like, oh, that's weird. Like my toe is tickling. And I realized that my skateboard got like caught on the sewer plate and it was like long gone. And I was holding on to the back and my feet were dragging and the road had just like sandpapered its way all the way through the shoe and started grinding into my foot. And at that point I was like, oh, this is bad. Like I need to do something. And like they didn't know that was going on in the front. So I let go and I tumbled and it scraped the entire side of my body, like my face, my chest, my leg, like the whole side. I looked like Two-Face, the Batman character.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that
Your eyes all.
like it was really, really bad. And I remember like I called in work and like work didn't believe me, like, oh yeah, how bad could it be? And I showed up to work like with like a week later and I had to put like misotracin all over, so it was like all like gooey and like like goopy.
Nasty, yeah.
And,
Well, I'm glad you're
and I showed
alive.
through, I just walked in and they were like, go, like, you tell us when you're okay to go back. I went to school, like kids would like have to excuse themselves because it just looked
They couldn't
like,
see it.
like it looked horrible. It looked like I was in a freaking. So
Oh
it
my God.
to me it was like always kind of like a funny memory, but yeah, I almost died that day, and
Oh my god.
You're lucky.
my friends felt so bad because they had to drive back to my house where my parents were at. They just threw this party, and I was like, I'm gonna go down and just skateboard for a little bit, and like an hour later they bring me, and I'm like missing half of my skin on my body. Like, we're sorry.
Like, what the fuck happened?
Happy
Holy
birthday,
shit,
dude.
man.
And I was so
Yeah.
amped on adrenaline, like the whole thing like was just so funny to me.
I mean,
I've
nothing
still got
happens.
like if my beard ever goes away, I've still got like gravel.
Yeah, some
I
like,
did
in
have
my
a smart
chin.
ass comment and like to say during it of like, and then Thomas grew his beard out.
Yeah, there's like chunks of gravel somewhere in here.
Oh yeah. I never
Abby.
had anything. Oh,
Oh,
Go
do
ahead.
you wanna?
Yeah, I don't mind. It was the day before my 17th birthday. My mom died. It was a Sunday. And so the next day was a Monday, and my stepdad was making me to go pick out her casket.
yeah.
Like my sister had to like literally fight him because I told him I didn't want to do it. And I was like, I do not want to go pick out my mom's casket today. Like, I don't care what box you put her in. Just put her in whatever fucking box. It doesn't matter. I don't need to be a part of that. But he was not going to let me out of it. But my sister like had to battle for me to not go. So I didn't have to
Yeah.
actually go that day. But it was traumatic enough that I cried every year on my birthday. Like, I didn't cry on Mother's Day or on her, her birthday, none of that. But on my birthday, every year I would cry. And like for 20 something years, like a long time. And then I
Yeah.
finally realized like it was okay to miss my mom and still enjoy that day.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
took some shadow
Yeah.
work, but
Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Mom.
Picking out a fucking casket.
how
What a
morbid is that?
douche.
What an asshole, right?
There's just some kind of weird thing sometimes. I think adults do it too. There's like no growing. Like in our grief
Mhm.
process, sometimes we're experiencing so much and we're in so much pain. We want the people around us to somehow feel the pain too that we're feeling. Like, and it doesn't make any sense. And we don't relate it. Like sometimes they're going through their own pain from the situation, but it's just like we like lash out. We're kind of ugly to people. We like do really weird things in the moment, like in that week after, that's all kind of a blur that people around you will be like, ooh, you did this, that, and the other thing. Like you're kind of
And you're
numb.
like, what?
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
then it's like when you need an adult to be, they're supposed to be a guider in that time, but they don't really know how they're going to react to trauma and like a death. There's like no age for it.
No. Well, and then he treated me like shit for years. And then like right before he died, he apologized and he's like, I'm so sorry for how I treated you all this time. He's like, you just remind me so much of your mom that I couldn't handle it. I was like, the fuck?
But
That's
what-
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still like so real.
It is real. You know, I forgave him. Obviously, he was
Yeah.
a good man.
Birthdays.
I didn't
Yeah.
have a traumatic thing happen to me, but on my birthday, it was like I was like 5 or 6, and I had so many kids over, and we were all just playing around, and I think we were all like jumping on the bed and just like being fucking kids, and all of a sudden, one of the kids pushed my cousin, and right on the side there was like a fucking iron heater that we had by the windows that we have in New York City. I mean, it's like hard as fuck. Pushed him and like legit cracked his head open. I mean, it was gushing fucking blood. I never seen anything like that in my life. And as a 6-year-old, you're like, what the fuck? So my whole party was ruined. Ambulance came, head cracked open, kid was unconscious, and yeah, they tried to blame me. And of course, I got in trouble for it because, well, you're the responsible one. Why aren't you watching all the kids? Because I'm a fucking kid too. Hello.
Because you're 6 years
But
old. Yeah.
6 years old. I want to have fun
God.
too. But yeah, no, I've had great birthdays. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like a fucking princess. Like I want my birthday present.
Do you like opening presents in front of people?
I
I
did,
don't.
not now. Not now.
I am so awkward. I'm trying to get
Me
better at
too.
it. I'm
Like
so
I would
I get
rather look at it
excited.
after they're not
Oh.
around me. Yeah.
like
get
Christmas,
excited,
happy
yeah.
birthday, the whole entire thing. It's just is so awkward. I don't even know how to act, even if I'm in love with the gift.
I
Like
know.
even if it's my favorite thing I ever seen, I feel like what I'm doing is LARPing.
Me
Any
too.
gift.
Always.
But
Yeah.
any gift, because
Yeah.
I'm like when I was a kid, I've gotten gifts, but then it stopped. And it stopped for a long time, you know, and being single for a long time. And it's like you don't want gifts from your family. It's like I don't want gifts from anybody. And when I get one, it's like whatever the fuck it is, it's like, oh my God, it's so sweet, you know, and it's like I appreciate it. It's like I fucking love the gift. I get excited even if it's a keychain.
Do you make a wish on a cake? Still, if you blow out candles right now on your birthday,
Mm.
do you make a
No.
wish?
Not anymore.
I do.
I do too.
Anytime
I
I
make a wish.
get an
I
Yeah,
make
not a
opportunity
lot
to
of
wish, I
them
do
either.
it. Yep, I'm gonna do it.
Do you have any? Are you willing to share any of the wishes that? Do you remember any that you made at any of your
Oh, well,
birthdays?
mine are always really cheesy. It's usually just like I hope I have a great day today with my friends and family, just because I know that one's a fairly easy one to resolve. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I like that. That you give
I
your
was always
genie a
like,
Too
shot to
low.
be real.
I hope my mom gets me the Masters of the Universe, you know, He-Man that has the little spinny thing on his front. And of course, you'd never get the freaking one that I wanted. She'd always get the, you know,
Yeah.
yes, I like playing with He-Man characters.
Even the birthday song on in itself is such a spell.
Oh, so there's one thing that I hate so much, and I guess it's like an American thing, but like the
Sing at
stupid
restaurants.
ass birthday songs. If you go to a restaurant, like every fucking chain
Happy
has its own like
it's your
annoying
special
version
day.
of it.
Yeah. Oh
I
God,
hate,
yeah.
and like you have to be involved with someone else's. It's like having their birthday. I don't know. I don't want to go into a full blown rant, but that's like one of the things I hate the most about American culture. Like when
Why not go
robots
on a rant?
finally come and destroy everyone, that's one of the reasons that I'll be like, maybe they're onto something.
This is what else it sucks in the American culture to pile on to your restaurant birthday experience. Tante goreate, tante goreate. And then, heaven forbid, I just brought my friend Thomas to celebrate his birthday. And now the servers, the disgruntled servers that didn't want to do it the first time, and we all just heard happy birthday. Within 45 minutes, he already looked. He knows it's his birthday. He knows why we're all there. Tante, that happy birthday to you. That goes by. He looks at everyone at the table. Don't do that to me. And it's like we're all like, it's already done.
Too bad.
Like it's too
We're doing
late.
it. Yeah.
When we made the reservation, we told them that it was your
Already
birthday. There's
done.
nothing we can do to unravel it. It's already there, and we all hate it ourselves. It's miserable. It's like here, this stinks. Smell it, and we're all doing it to you. And we're all going to watch you uncomfortably do this. The worst one ever in history was somewhere in the 90s. TGI Fridays made people stand on the table.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Oh,
I always was just like, this is going to go bad. But I probably
What's the one that
did.
always did the line dances? Some fucking steakhouse here in Tucson.
You know which ones
used to
I
piss
like?
me off.
I like when they go to the bartender and the bartender feeds them and slaps them in the face. Bah! Like happy birthday. those are great.
I don't know
With
that
the
one.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't
Yeah,
seen
like,
those? Yeah, that's like a thing now where you
yeah.
pay extra and they you take a shot, and as soon as you're done with the shot, they usually have a female slap you across the face.
Oh,
Okay.
on my birthday at the bar, they gave me like an orgasm shot, and then they put it between a man's legs, and I'm like, dude, this is my birthday. I ain't doing that shit. I was like, I get to sit in the chair. So I sat in the chair. I didn't drink the shot. I made him fucking take it because I was like, this is not how this works. Like, I'm not going to ridicule myself in public on my birthday.
Absolutely not.
Do you remember your 21st birthday? You didn't ridicule yourself in public on your 21st birthday?
I was pregnant.
Oh.
Mm.
I know
I don't
what we're
remember
going to
that.
have to do next time we hang out. Abby's 21st birthday.
She's getting pregnant.
Oh my God. Hey, let's fuck up. I never had one.
We'll do
Oh
it.
my gosh.
We'll do it.
Let's do it.
Let's
Tequila.
get fucked up.
I did. I got fucked up on my 21st birthday.
I don't
I feel like the whole
Everybody
way
had their
through.
21st birthday story, and like I'm knocked up, so I couldn't do it.
I
feel
was,
like
And I was in
I
the
was
Navy,
still
so
beyond
like all my
decades
Navy
at that
friends,
point.
that was what we did. Like
Nothing.
21 was huge, but
Like I felt like I had already drank myself out of liking alcohol by 21. You know what I mean? Like I think
yeah, I
started
really kind of did.
drinking at
Too.
like 14 or 15, like hard. By the time I was in my late 20s, like I could no longer drink the same way that I could when I was like a teenager.
Like 21? What? I've been
I never-
21 like 7 years.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
it was like all my friends, like or people that I knew in like the real non-crazy world would just be like, "Oh, are you we're gonna go get crazy for my 21st drinking." Like, yeah, welcome to me like 10 years ago.
Well, for
Yo, rookies.
us, it was like where we could go. There was like certain places now, like going in Florida, like Pleasure Island was like, oh, we could always go there at 18. Now at 21, it was a whole new experience. It was more so the places that, not that girls ever had an ish. We could get a lot of places at 18 already and drinks handed to us. But now it was like, oh, we can drink wherever. This is fantastic. My parents just, alcohol was never the thing that my parents were like, you're not allowed to do this. So I never had an ish with not doing it either, like getting super trash, but still 21 was like, and I've been on enough friends after me's 21 where I'm like, here we go. And dudes were different than girls, like where it was like, I guess we're going to the titty bar tonight. Like a lot of my guy friends, I guess here we go, we're titty barring.
Okay, I've never done that either. Can we do that for my 21st birthday party?
I never have either.
Abby's 21st birthday party.
we
That
can
might
do
be
that.
part of the meetup.
Okay.
If everyone wants to
Titty
go,
bar.
that'll be an
Drinking
extra
was
part
like a taboo
of the
for
October.
girls in our culture. Like even if you were 21, it's like, oh, she's drinking. Like, oh, she's a loose one. Like, what the fuck? I'm 21. Mind your business. Like, what the fuck? But now it's like not a thing. But like when I was growing up, like, bruh, bruh, shut the fuck up.
Mind your business. I'm 21.
Mind your
Speaking of-
neck, all right?
Ties and alcohol, that was one of my tricks when I was like 16 or 17. I had like a scraggly little beard that was starting, but I would go into a gas station and I could get beer without an ID. I had a fake one, but I realized this was way easier. I'd have like a button down shirt because I worked at Kinko's, so I'd have like my Kinko's logo on it and everything, and I would like open it up like I had just come off work and kind of like scraggle my hair. And I would just walk into a gas station and be like, "What a shitty night this has been. Where's the beer at?" Like in my deepest voice that I could muster. And like 90% of the time, the guy would be like, "I feel you, buddy. It's right back there." And then I would get so much that I'd like be carrying it and make it look like, "Oh fuck, where's my?" You know what I mean? But just by acting the role, and I think having that tie and like the shirt on and everything. It just sold the performance. Like I didn't even need a freaking fake ID for the longest time because I could just do that.
Yeah.
There were
All
those
you-
certain few dudes that could grow that beard quick in high school, and they never got ID'd.
Never.
And I was making
18
fake
when I was, like,
IDs for
30.
people. I think I'm beyond the law of what is it, the 7 years Yeah, statute of limitations. But it was the
That's a
easiest thing before they got all crazy with the holograms. At Kinko's, people would come in and you would just take a pencil eraser on the floor ID at least, and you would just erase the last digit of the birthday with a pencil eraser until it was completely gone. And then we would have like a little Photoshop template, just put the number on there that it needed to be, print it on a clear sticker, like an overhead projector sticker, and just lay it right back on top of that. Done. Like presto
Wow.
blammo. Everyone that I knew in my town had they were all like 21 and up. You know what I mean? I didn't know anyone that was a teenager when I was a teenager.
Thomas was at Kinko's.
Oh, yeah.
I used to get my friends fake. I had already moved to Los Angeles, and the statute of limitations is up. But Alvarado in Los Angeles was a street you could get anything on, and I was just like, now I look back to my silly, naive self walking the street just looking for marijuana and every drug they were. I'm lucky I didn't get bought and sold, and but I walked past one thing and I was like, did I just see a whole bunch of fake IDs? And then I walked back, and once I realized that I could get people a fake ID for any state, and I had friends all over, so then it was just like, okay, sure, send me money. I'm going to Alvarado to get herb. I'm going out Alvarado to get herb. So I would always just be on Alvarado. All the Mexicans probably knew me. Here's that weird white girl again getting fake IDs and marijuana. They all just probably thought I was a Fed. Wouldn't be anything different than now, I guess.
I used to live in the worst town
That was
in
a goody-goody.
Patterson, bro. And it was like all types of people, but barely white people, you know? And we just bought a building there. So we lived in it. And my mom was pregnant, and it was just us. We were like the only white folks there. And they thought we were the feds for the longest time until one of these guys, they're like, yo, are you the Fed? Are you guys the Fed? I'm like, no, bro, we're Albanian. As soon as I said Albanian, he's like, oh, don't worry. We won't follow you. We won't bother you anymore. If you need any help with anything, don't worry. We'll even walk you home. Nobody's going to fucking bother you. I was like, what the fuck? And then I found out that there was like this Albanian cafe where like all these whores went and gamblers and shit and drug addicts and all these fucking like mafia people all went to like maybe down the street from me, all went there, and they're like, yo, Albanians, you can't fuck with them. So they're scared of Albanians. So that's why they wanted to protect. At first they thought we were feds. I was like, what the fuck? Why are only white people feds? Like what?
Do you think there's power in a flag?
Power in a flag.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like imagine seeing a pirate flag in the the
sigils.
17th century or something, 18th century.
That you had no land.
Interesting that Oklahoma has the X. I didn't realize it did with the Florida flag there having the X too.
Oh, let me look at it.
But that's like the
again.
peace pipe and the olive branch because it's all symbols of peace.
Huh. An X with the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is as well. Oklahoma. I'm
That's why
pulling up
we
the
relate
Albanian
so well.
flag. But I was talking to Abby about it does seem like Okies and Southern Charm are a very similar thing.
They really are.
We were talking about how just in so many states it sucks. Like people are just rude. Where in the South, it's like if you walk in front of someone, you just get the door for them. Like there's just little things that you do out of common courtesy in front of people. And it seems like even like if there's somebody older than you speaking, you let them finish what they're saying before you interrupt. We were talking about all these little like old-fashioned little rules, and it just seems like, gosh, that's just Southern hospitality. And she's like, no, that's Oklahoma too. And it just seems like certain states still have this like really sweet way of treating each other, and I appreciate it in the South. It's not just Florida. I appreciate it in Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina. Like it's a thing I feel specifically in the South, but I do believe I'd feel it in Oklahoma.
And it's funny, when I growing up on the West Coast, I always thought Oklahoma was the South. And then I moved here and I thought it was the Midwest, but it's actually the Southwest. It's like, but it's still South, really, in my book. It was one of the southern states.
Look at this fucking flag though.
Albanian, right?
Yeah, but just imagine like if you've
That's so
seen that
powerful.
coming. It's
It
so
is
scary.
powerful
powerful.
looking.
Yeah.
It is a bitchin'
It's the
design.
X2 though,
Like
if you look at it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Well, look at
And
the rebel
red.
flag. That's got some serious power still.
Oh, and then we're going into the whole Jack whatever. The freaking
The
pirate
Mexican
flag.
flag is powerful too. The whole eagle and the snake, how Chaney talks
mhm.
about.
Isn't that
The Jolly
so
Roger is also like an X2.
Scottish flag is next. It's either X's or crosses, right?
the Mexican flag? I think is so interesting because this is where you actually get the eagle versus serpent representation on one flag.
Yeah.
Like where you actually see the eagle being like a nah dog, serpent don't live here no more. And so when you think of all of the design or all of the ancient cultures, the Aztecs, the Mayans, and everything through Mexico, South America, and all the way down, they were all very serpent. And so then you think of everything that is the Holy Roman Empire, or everything that we know to be that idea and how eagle it is representative, and you see it right on this flag.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's shape. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's a fierce looking eagle. Is it
Golden
an
eagle
eagle?
too. It's a
Yeah.
golden eagle.
Yeah, the golden eagle was super Roman.
It's essentially a phoenix, right? Whenever you see a golden eagle, it's almost like a proxy for a phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, you're right.
Another weird one too on like countries and like the eagle snake symbolism. The Peru has the eagle and the condor and the panther, is it, or the jaguar? And it might be specific to Cusco, although Cusco's flag is actually the LGBT flag before they adopted it. Like if you've ever seen the flag of Cusco next to an LGBT flag, it's only has like one extra color of blue, I think. It was funny because a lot of people get the two of them mixed up.
Hmm.
This is
So
the
that
Peru flag,
that's the
right?
Peruvian flag. Yeah, if you look at the Cusco flag, you'll see the rainbow color and the condor symbolism. I think like they've got it carved into mountainsides and stuff, but I don't know if they ever made it onto a flag.
I wonder how many other flags have. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And
Cusco
theirs
flag.
existed before the LGBT flag.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I am going to pull it up so you guys can all see it. If you didn't see the rainbow shining in my glasses.
What?
What the fuck?
And there's a version that doesn't have the little Olmec face on the front from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's
Is this the inverted rainbow or not? Is this the correct?
No, it's
Technically, it's not
It's
a
Roy
video
G.
game
Biv.
reference, but-
See
It
how
does
they've
have
got
blue
two
and
versions
indigo.
of blue though.
Yeah. So that's the
Huh.
correct rainbow.
Dang.
Wow.
What
That
is the
would be
Russian
so
flag?
sniped.
Does the Russian flag have an eagle in it too? Like a two-headed eagle? So does the
Yes.
Polish, I believe.
It's
And
just
so
three
does
colors now.
the
isn't it?
Maxwell family crest. Yeah, the Russian flag now is just the white and blue and red.
Oh, yeah. It's a Polish then, I think. I don't remember.
Flag Day. It's just interesting, like why we would have a Flag Day. It's not a holiday that's like recognized where it's enough to get off work.
What is it for? It's to recognize the flags of all nations, or
The first flag,
Just the
the
American.
13 colonies,
Oh.
and I think it's the original, not the 50 United
That one I've been
States.
thinking about a lot. The 13 of it all. It's so weird because 13 is such a hidden number.
Yeah, they didn't have to have 13.
Yeah.
They were very specific about
They
it.
were. I like your Tibetan flag with a star on it.
All right, we're going to look it up because it seems like it has something to do with the army somewhere too,
That
because
is
isn't it
true,
at the
13.
army birthday as well? Happy birthday to any army veterans out there. I
That
think
flag
it
almost
is.
looks like the Macedonian flag too. The one with the
A holiday
sun rays.
celebrated on June 14th in the United States. It commemorates the adoption of the flag of the United States on June 14th, 1777, by resolution of the Second Continental Congress. The flag resolution stated that the flag of the 13 United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white and a blue field represented a new constellation. This is the part that I thought was
Weird.
so interesting when I was
Interesting.
researching it. A new constellation.
That's
And
weird. Weird
They
wording.
don't have anything referencing that at all. Like
What do you
anything
mean?
that links that, the new
It's
constellation.
and it just says the flag resolution stated, so we can probably all look up the flag resolution. And that was just in quotes
The new
in it.
constellation. Maybe star forts, maybe? Because star forts are a thing of like energy
We're
absorption. Or
Pleiadians.
Well, does it just gives you like could you make your land, is that how you make a constellation?
yeah, probably with the ley lines and the star forts, how they create them, the energy grids with the church and the state capitol, this energy center, probably.
The domes. They all have
Why are they calling
domes.
it?
A lot of them
Because
have copper.
stellar is star. So yeah, constellation is weird that it's weird that they're
And
even
13 colonies with 13 stars and 13 stripes.
So it's like
we
a
saw the
star for
13
each.
stripes, right?
That's fucking weird. That's the ley
13,
lines,
13.
probably. Major ley lines, maybe. Or maybe arteries of the land, because lands have arteries of like different types of material, gold or iron or whatever the fucking case may be. Quarries of different sorts.
Quarries. I like that word.
Quarries.
Quarries.
Sounds
Moist
sophisticated.
quarries.
That's the
Yeah.
word, right? Quarries?
Yeah, that's quarries.
Yeah, you said it right. It's just one of those words that when you said it,
Well,
when you
I
say
just
it
You don't
gotta,
more,
hear it
yeah.
the
often, but
longer you
it's like
say it,
that's
it
what.
starts sounding weird, like quarries,
Quarries.
But I think it
quarries,
sounds sophisticated. If you can use it in flip it
quarries,
in casual
quarries,
conversation, you sound like bougie as
Oh,
hell.
wow. She knows
That was
what she's
bougie.
talking about.
quarries. I was down at the quarry last evening.
That was, well, with the
But Gordy
suit.
takes bougie to a new level, man.
I'm trying to see if there's any flags with snakes on them for other countries than Mexico. Because we know, like, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag has a snake.
The Gadsden flag, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think it's shout out to Florida is that they'd have a "Don't Tread on Me" license plate.
Do
There's
they?
the
Yeah.
join or die flag too.
I like that. Then what's the country with the lion or wait,
Iran?
Somerset has like the yellow flag with the griffin, lion, dragon thing on it. So that would kind of be like there's some country flags that have the serpent on them, but they're as dragons. Only one with a
Wales?
snake, Mexico. Yeah, so it does seem like, the serpent definitely lost the flag battle.
Hmm. I wonder.
The eagle is everywhere. The eagle has landed.
Because
The
Rome
eagle
took
has
over.
landed.
Rome took over. Rome never fell.
No, Rome never fell.
Why use that term? The eagle has
Hold on one
landed.
second. Let me ask
What?
my attorney.
Yes.
Mr. Shoes, what do you
Yes.
think? Did Rome fall or
Ro-
not?
Rome never fell. Rome just.
Too big to
You
fail.
see, Rome just continued to change form. over and over and over again and see what it does is it just keeps, it's like a hydra. You just chop off one head and it just regrows another one. This is what the Catholic Church is. Oh,
So it's Rome.
oh, were we talking about Rome or the Catholic Church or the same?
So it's Rome without Roman philosophy, pretty much.
Yes, exactly.
isn't
And it's
it-
everywhere. It's in their flags. It's on our coins. It's still, we were based, the American government was based on Romans. And the Bible was I'm convinced that, let me just rephrase this. The Council of Nicaea reframed the New Testament as a psyop for the Roman Empire to wash their hands of it and to make him a martyr. I kind of buy the what is his name, Nickel idea, the Caesar's Messiah idea. You guys, any of you guys familiar with that? Anyway, it's a tangent.
I was into it, and I was like thinking, I don't know what it is, but suit and tie, Gordy. I'm like,
I know.
tell me.
You could.
That's I keep like,
So
doing
nice
the
to
same thing. I'm like,
Eskimo.
geez,
It's
dropping some truth
just the
bombs here.
appearance. We're just looking good.
I know
Dapper
it
as
is.
fuck.
Yeah, you look dapper.
Yeah,
I'd
this looks like an
you're hired.
Arizona politician.
You're
right?
hired.
Hired.
You're hired.
Hide your
He looked
kids,
the,
hide your
he was the
wife.
greatest guy.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Gordy's coming.
He was the greatest guy.
The greatest guy. With
In the
suit and
bluest
tie.
suit. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Did you guys
so-
all know how to tie a tie? Did
You know
anyone
what? It came back. It came back a lot
There's
easier
the
than I
coolest
thought.
trick. I got it off
It was
TikTok and I
just-
posted it to my
I was like,
Instagram.
oh, I still know
It's
it.
the coolest way. Like you put it on your arm, you wrap it twice, and then just pull the loop through, and it's like, it's awesome.
You need to wrap the big part around the tie. Is that the big part?
Watch.
Yeah.
It's muscle memory now. Here, let's see.
He's got it. Nice.
It's not gonna look as good because I'm not gonna be able to adjust it in the mirror.
Are we all retying our ties? Or-
Watch.
We're seeing
You
how-
seriously just do this. You wrap it around your hand twice, and pull it through, and ta-da!
Oh, that's cheating.
It is the
Yeah,
best
it is
way.
kinda
It's freaking
cheating.
awesome. Why do it the hard way if you can just cheat? And I look fly as fuck. Look at that. You should see the way I tie my shoes. I do it the magic way too.
With bunny ears?
Velcro?
No, you cross your fingers like this. You just cross your fingers and pull it through. You wrap it around your fingers and
Oh,
go.
shit.
I don't even want
Oh,
to
no.
try this anymore. I feel
I'll
like
make a
the night
video
goes
and
off.
show you tomorrow, and you'll be mind blown.
That would
You
that's
probably
the kind
never
of video that would go viral on TikTok, honestly.
Yeah, if you guys have probably never seen anybody tie their shoes this way.
Comes right back. I haven't
I
tried
tie-
one for years.
I tie mine with bunny ears. My shoes still. Like
tie mine
if I
three
were
different
gonna
ways.
date me, and if I watched me tie shoes, I'd be like, did I just see what I think I saw? Did this bitch just still use bunny ears to tie her shoes? Yes, I did. Why change it? When people tried to reteach me another way, I was like, blah, 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 blah. This isn't broken. This is perfectly fine. I never need to learn another way.
But if I
So-
teach you my way, you'll never want to tie your shoes the old way again because it's so fun.
Most of my shoes, honestly, I don't tie anymore.
Yeah, I
know.
feel like I tie my shoe like the day I buy the shoe, and then I never have to tie it again. I just slip in and out of them.
You slip them on. Fuck this stupid thing. I keep losing.
And this is
Okay.
why we're all becoming feminized, is because men aren't even tying their shoes anymore. They're just slipping them
Can't
on
even-
and off like
even
freaking
wear-
slippers.
We don't even wear boots anymore.
Who's
with-
voting for
with
Trump?
laces.
That's another thing that I will never wear unless it comes down to like we're back in, like we're in
Boots?
wartime. Boots. They might seem fun until you have to wear them for like 4
Sure.
years nonstop. And
Sure.
Oh my!
Dude, there
and
was
running
one-
them, PT
Yeah,
in them.
dude, and
Oh my
running them.
god!
there
You
was
Big
have to have
toes
the
are
right
like
boots.
dead. They have no feeling in them, and they're numb.
There was a time that I had a cockroach in my boot. I put like I was going on, into like this in military, and I remember putting them on, and it was like 4 a.m. and I had to
And you were
get,
like, I'm
to
gonna
my
save
thing
this
at
and
like
create
by
the best
5.
recipe. Sorry,
And
go on.
well, I felt something in my foot the whole day, but I was too busy to do anything about it, so I just kind of put it out of my mind. Even though I knew there was like I was like it's probably just a pebble, even though it would
Yeah.
kind of like move around a little bit, but you didn't see it, out of sight, out of mind. And after like a long ass 11-hour day, I got home and took my boots off, and the fucking live cockroach came.
It was still alive.
It was still alive in there the entire day. So I
Oh.
had like a live cockroach in my boot the whole day.
Yeah, they say
Speak-
like be careful
Jeez.
when you kill these cockroaches because you can take like a pregnant one into your house and like have its eggs under your shoe and you not realize it, and that's how a lot of times you end up with
Oh my
having
God.
roaches. Yeah,
That's creepy.
so if you're at work and you kill it, don't wash your shoe before you go home.
Speaking of the military and flags, though, like I found out that I can get a sailor tattoo, and this is the only one I would ever get because I never wanted an anchor because I didn't want anything weighing me down. But like I could get the Jolly Roger because I've stood captain's mast. And I'm so gonna get it because I fucking earned
Nice.
that badge.
Good for you.
That means I got in trouble.
You can get that anyway. A real
Yeah, but I
pirate
mean,
doesn't need
like
the
that's
military to tell him.
right, but fuck. That's
I'm
like
just
saying fuck you to the
teasing
Navy again. So
I'm just teasing you. You can get 2 of them.
I'm going to matching on both my butt cheeks.
Bop, bop. And just clench them.
Butt pirate.
Fight.
Whoa.
Doesn't sound
They
good.
fight.
Watch 'em fight.
You put like robots, those Rock'em Sock'em
Rock'em Sock'em
on-
robots. One a pink one, a red one, and a blue one on one side. Just pop, 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 pop.
Do
It's a great
how
idea for a
much
tattoo.
do you guys think there's a potential, and maybe this is just that somewhere we're being set up for this Netflix thing, for like Tyson to maybe die in the ring? Or am I the only one with this cryptic idea?
Are they still fighting?
Yeah,
They're
it
gonna
just
still fight?
seemed like geriatric shit, right? It's
I think they're still
Sounds
fighting. I
rough,
think it's
dude.
just put off later because, and even him being on a plane and them letting us know about the medical incident. That's so crazy to me. That is, publicists let us know things. Otherwise, fighters, they are like, after the fight 2 weeks, they'll be like, by the way, I was injured that fight. I tore my ACL the week of training. And they'll be training with 25 dudes. No one says anything to the press because the odds can't change. Vegas can't know. They want to get in the ring. They still want to get paid. They made it all the way through this training camp. So the idea we know this much about Tyson and this whole thing, I just feel like all of us collectively are being led on this like bamboozle. And Netflix, like maybe there was enough heat on it and they're like, we can even generate more heat. Let's keep it going. But somewhere with the Netflix, I mean, they sold us the Bill Gates meat. They sold us all. I mean, every Netflix documentary. It's just a big, I mean, like every network. It's just choose your own propaganda. So it just makes me wonder with them going into live sports, which is how live, like WWE live, what kind of sport are we talking about? Because then it's like unsanctioned,
XFL.
kind of
Let's go
sanctioned.
XFL.
Yeah, and then it kind of got sanctioned as it went on, and then the rules are very specific and whatever. It just makes me feel like, oh, this is like theater on top of theater. I don't know. I don't believe any of it's
Isn't it
real.
all? Yeah.
But I don't even believe like Mike Tyson. Like I can't even humor people when they talk to me about it. I'm like, I just can't even buy into any of it. I don't believe it's real. But anyways, I'm a fight fan.
Is the Elon Musk Mark Zuckerberg thing still happening, or did that dissolve?
The only one that was really pushing for that was like Dana White and Elon. Like Elon was talking shit, but really Mark was like really training. And I also think it's funny that CIA Mark Zuckerberg, like we all know Facebook is LifeLog, and he's been at so much of the UFC events. Like the Mark Zuckerberg built robot, like the new Mark Zuckerberg, it's been at UFC events as well. The secret society of good guys. That's how you move. That's how you move a secret force all over the world.
Clones.
I should have put a fake fly in my white hair.
Well, we're gonna go to a boxing match, aren't we? Redneck Rumble in
I
Oklahoma.
really think I am gonna make that.
When,
In
where is that? Where is
Oklahoma
she?
City.
in Oklahoma City, Tiffany Baxter, who was on the show, she boxes in the Redneck Brawl, and she's the Conspiracy Smoke Show. So it is Oklahoma City versus Texas. It's like getting bigger. It's a pay-per-view event. So if we go, we're gonna walk her into the octagon or
I'm
into
still
the
trying to
ring.
decide if I want to sign up for the ring girl competition because you win $2,000 if you win, but I don't know.
You should
Try it
totally
out.
do it.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want to do it if you guys aren't going though. If you're going, then I'll do it. But
When is it?
Can you box the other ring girls to see who wins?
I just gotta look hotter. I think
When is it though?
August 3rd.
Probably not. I don't know. I have to check. Maybe. I don't know. I have to check.
I know it's a crazy time at work for me, but it's a Saturday, so it's okay.
Does
Y'all
Oklahoma
should-
City
you
have
should
any
still
good
do it.
Oklahoma City conventions? Like a McVeigh convention?
Oh well, there's a whole shrine to the Oklahoma City bombing. Like you can go walk it and everything. So it's right by the post office.
Do they have a guided tour in a rider truck? They like drive you around the building, talk about it.
If they don't, we could rent a rider truck and make
Right?
some. I think that would
With
be
a-
such great footage for us to make.
Or we could rent the
With a
little
blowhorn?
scooters. We can just get the little scooters and we make a
Conspiracy
scoot-
Smoke Show, and it's like boom, 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 Conspiracy Smoke Show, and we just drive around Oklahoma.
Drive around
City
like the old wrestlers used to do in Mexico.
boom. Yeah.
Los Radio Pantera. Wrestling. Mucho lucho libre.
That was good. You could have sold us on anything. You could have come on in that calm voice and told us that the end of the world is here.
The end of the world is coming.
Sweet.
Tell everybody that.
Be ready for it. God told me
Tell
to tell
everybody
you.
the one truth that there is that they all have to be comfortable with. There's no matter what they're gonna do. Tell them they're all gonna die.
You know. Fun. I love
You gotta
this. This is
sell
my
it though.
favorite
You have to
part.
really sell that you're all gonna die.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna sell it.
Okay. So here, this is what you're looking forward to. See, this is what is so great. It's going to happen to all of us, but it's going to happen to some sooner than later. So we're all going to die. Happy apocalypse to you.
Gordy, I love it.
That's great.
Shit.
You're all gonna die.
Yeah, that was scarier. Abby, that was far scarier. You're not allowed to ever do the you're gonna die thing again. It always has to be upbeat when Gordy
We're all
gives it
gonna
to
die.
us.
I love Gordy
Well,
decisions.
So whatever.
I don't like death and taxes. I'm like, no, just death. Just
Why
death.
don't we? Why are we so conditioned to like be afraid of death?
Because of our birthdays.
Because of our guilt. People are
But
afraid
like,
of
why
what?
does that have to be so scary and so sad?
It
Like-
seems so silly, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like we really don't know what happens afterwards. Like it could be way better than this, and we're just like, oh
I think
no,
it's-
why? Like
Maybe because religion, because it sits there and tells you that, like, you're going to one of two places, and you better hope you fucking did a good job so you don't go to Sheol, which is funny because all it means is like a dark, damp place. Then that's where everyone went to the afterlife was Sheol. It's the underworld.
like what?
It's not. There's no hell in the Bible. It's Sheol.
It's
A
like
dark, damp place.
Yeah,
I was
And
thinking
we were talking
underground,
about
about
subterranean. It's
maybe
under
that's
the
what
going.
ground.
time
It's
travel is like.
Hades.
Baron Trump and like Mario and the tunnels and going into like the tunnel is
I
the
I was
the
thinking
time
about that.
traveling mechanism that puts you in a different world in a different time frame, and time is slower, or you can't conceive what time is because whatever the case may be. So maybe that is like its form of time travel, like Mario and tunnels and different worlds. And that's what time
Bloop,
travel
bloop,
is,
bloop.
going through different densities, probably. Shul could be one of them.
You know, we were talking about Leviathan last week
The
too.
what?
Yeah,
Leviathan,
Leviathan.
Uh-huh.
Sheol. It in Job 41 is the whole chapter about. Um, I think he's talking about anybody who's idiotic enough to come up against the Leviathan deserves what he gets, essentially, kind of thing. But it's about him coming out of the Sheol, which I thought was really interesting.
Hmm.
Well, I believe Isaac, one of the fathers, it was Isaac or Israel, Jacob slash Israel. One of them is actually quote.
John Jacob
Jacob
Heimerschmidt.
Schmidt, his name is my name too.
I lied. It
Okay,
was
go on.
it's
Sorry.
It's hard to do
Isaac. So
together.
Isaac in the Bible, he's the son of Abraham. Father Abraham had many sons. Do you
And
want
his
to see that one
son,
too?
Many
only
sons have
son was
Father
Father
Abraham.
Abraham.
So he said that if one of his sons died, and he was talking both, I want to say like about Ishmael and Isaac, if one of them had died, he would go to Sheol and get them back. Like, so it was never like this place of endless torment. It's not what it is. It's just a subterranean place, the underworld, like just like it would be described in Greek mythology, like with Hades and stuff. Like it's just a place where the dead go.
I have a question. Do you think that somewhere in a hollow earth scenario that life maybe is longer? Maybe there's these miracles or this kind of not even miracle, but almost like an avatar tree where they're like, we can plug this thing in and it gives life back. That somewhere we lost connection with. So we're like, we should bury them in the ground. Like that'll make them. That's what we should do. Like it gives us this idea. Instead of burning them, we should bury them because Shul's down there. But instead of Shul being this bad place all the time, what about if it was this like maybe they'll come back to us? We have to put them down there and then they'll come back. Like it wasn't zombie like a bad idea. Like now we
Like
have
Pet
the idea you
Sematary.
bury it in the ground. Yeah, Pet Cemetery, it comes back. But what about if it wasn't that idea originally? Like, oh, your loved ones, like the Vikings, how they put someone on the boat and they'd shoot them with fire. What about if at the northern, how we were talking in Egypt, that was lesser Egypt. There was a greater Egypt, and it would be akin to like New York being the lesser York, and then there being a greater York. And so what if that idea was higher up so that you sent your dead in a boat to, the Four Rivers or something?
Across
But
the Euphrates
maybe
or
they
whatever.
get because it came back to you. Maybe you're like, oh, we just set them, we bury them or we send them out, but they come back to us. But maybe there was an idea that they once did come back. And that's why all this ritual still remains. I don't know.
I hope they don't come back. I mean, real estate prices are already bad enough as it is.
The housing crisis. What would we do with them all? Make them all pets.
Pets. I know. Pets.
Slave labor.
Pet Cemetery.
Zombie
Are you
slave
guys
labor.
voting for Trump? Who's voting for Trump here?
Maybe no one's voting.
Yeah, I think
No?
I'm done voting now. I think I'm over it.
Yeah,
I
why
think
would you
that's
even
what they
vote in a
want.
hellscape
Voted.
like Orlando?
But
No
they
point.
want us.
Drop in the fucking bucket.
I
No
think that's
point.
their goal though, is to like make us lose faith in the whole voting system, if you believe in it or not believe in it. But I feel like there's some merit to it. So it's like maybe they're trying to make us lose faith in that and not want us to vote anymore so they can control the timeline more.
You should get out and vote for your representatives and stuff. I will say that.
Yeah.
You should vote for local or you should run local.
Local.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Run local, run local, run local. But I also think there has to be something to every single time that, like, when women were allowed to vote, a whole bunch of bullshit happened. Like every time a minority is allowed to vote or a non-landowner is allowed to vote, a whole bunch of bullshit happens. So then you watch and like they're purposefully trying to make dead people vote against you, and then they're trying to make fake Chinese ballots vote against you, and then they're trying to make illegal aliens vote against you, and then they're like, okay, let's rock the vote, so we make kids vote against them. Let's do this, so obviously somewhere in the spell, it's not you, because everyone's like, well, if you show up to vote, then that means you're just taking part in all the bullshit. No, somewhere they want ignorance to vote against you. They want, as long, if you really believe in Chaney, and let's say 100 real people are gonna vote for Chaney, if they can get 101 dead people or uninformed people to vote for the CIA candidate or the easy, manipulated or the blackmailed candidate, that does seem like from the smallest up, as long as they can get everyone to always pay attention to president only. And they're like, I never see anything change. Really, I'm just going to be real simple. You didn't see your eggs go up in price? You didn't see your gas price change? I for one, had to shut down a business under Biden, but I am a grown up who saw taxes change. I feel like a whole bunch of people that always debate about things, they're not grown up. It's like when I hear people talk about like mud floods and they never built anything before. I'm like, sometimes bombs destroy things and then you rebuild with the new bricks you have around. It's not because it imploded and became a bigger brick. It's just a whole different brick. Like some things are just dumb. I just feel like, oh, well, people never built anything before. They never melted metal in their hand. Like, I don't know. So sometimes with voting, I'm like, oh, well, you live in a shithole like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, whatever liberal shithole you want to pick. But I always find this over and over and over and over and over again. The people who are most black-pilled against voting always 100% of the time live in a shithole, either one, not worth saving, or where it's proof what I'm saying is true. Where I live is bloodlines that have been spilt on the soil, blood, sweat, and tears, and their family lines conserve the values of that town. So everybody that comes to my town is like, holy shit, this feels different. Yeah, because every single one around here has a gun. Everyone around here, they're like, wow, it feels different when an American flag's flying around. Wow, look at the houses that have a Trump flag flying and they're not vandalized. Hell no, they're not vandalized, because if anyone's creepy walking around these streets, we take care of each other's property around here. Like, because in a constitutional republic, your mayor has more power than your governor, and your governor has more power than your president, but very few of you know it. Like most of you are like, I can't reiterate this enough. Most of you know Governor DeSantis's name and know jack shit about your own governor. And that is wild to me. Most of you tell me how the Constitution's bullshit, but don't know your own state constitution. And I think that's wild. Like, your state constitution means more than your federal government. And so a lot of the things you argue against, it's almost like the hadith, how Layla gets really upset about the hadith. And she's like, that's not even in my Bible. That's not anywhere in the Quran. That's in the hadith. So many times I hear people argue and I'm like, but that's not even, what state are you from? Like, where in your state is this happening that you're allowing it? And anytime somebody's like, oh, well, I'm just miserable and I'm black-pilled and everything sucks, and there's drag queens reading to my kids, I'm like, wow, show me a pussified dude who doesn't take part in his own town. You let drag queens read to your kids? Because there ain't no drag queens reading to the kids around here. So I'm just like, take fucking part. Stop blaming the TV all the time and Nancy Pelosi, and take part and learn who your representatives are. And I'm going to say it again and again and again and again, but I live in a badass place. And if you try to come here with your bullshit politics, or if you try to come here, don't vote, but don't get in our fucking way, because we're going to keep here special, and you can keep out there whatever you're going to keep, and you can wait for the New World Order to come. But when the New World Order comes here, we're going to go out shooting. And you can go out with your hands like, oh, I hope that Governor Cuomo and Dave Smith and Joe Rogan have a good debate about it. That's what I feel like. Most of the like do nothing fucking people out there on microphones, like they're just like a whole bunch of people. I'm going to scare you, but if you're not scared, why are you going to tune into Project Chaney next week? And that's a whole bunch of the podcasters out there. Like if you figure out that they're the do nothing, the second you start to get up and do something and you're like, hey, why am I listening to this guy scare me all the time? He hasn't even left his mom's basement. Then you're like, oh, ding, 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 ding. Anyways, but don't vote.
Preach.
I don't know what that's
I
like at
agree.
all because, like you said, I'm in Orlando, Orange County. I had to look it up. We get 62% Democrat votes compared to like 36% Republicans. So it's almost like an objective waste of time.
Yeah.
That's what
Arizona's a
Miami
waste
thought
of time
too.
now.
But you just
It's
need a
too
few
California.
loudmouth
Broward
Latinos.
County was also one of like those really corrupt areas where like they were always the last to report, so they could always like figure out exactly what numbers were needed, and then they were on the hot spot, and it wasn't as much of a landslide as it usually is for that previous election, I think, because like everyone was looking at Broward County because they were always the ones to drag their feet with the counting.
I was just in Orlando yesterday and I turned a corner, got off the highway and turned a corner and saw like one of those stab signs in the road that said Obamacare. And I was just like, yep, in Orlando.
Yep.
I was like, I don't see this shit anywhere in my fucking town. Obamacare. Like, I was like, this is some bullshit. Like, I was like, who would
Absolutely
even put
not.
that and be proud of it? They wouldn't just put insurance.
Why didn't Trump
Obamacare.
change Obamacare? Why
It
didn't he change
isn't
it?
Obamacare. It was
It's
you
Romney
could-
Care, right?
It's Romney Care. It was going to be your
It was
health care
rebranded.
regardless of shitty, stupid, not American Obama. You were just forced to get health insurance. That's all that happened. And what Trump did do is make it so the IRS wasn't penalizing us for not having forced health insurance. That's all that happened. It was like a forced health insurance, and anyone that had good health insurance got fucked because all of a
Totally.
sudden,
Premiums went from like $120
Yep.
to like $700. It's
It was
insane.
ridiculous.
You know the weirdest conspiracy that customers are talking about when it comes to Trump and Biden? They're like, this is what's going to happen. Biden is going to drop out, and something with Gavin Newsom. They're saying that Gavin Newsom is going to run against Trump, and it's going to be like the craziest, like, thing that's going to happen because they're going to try, because they see that Biden can't be the next candidate. So he's going to drop out, and that Gavin Newsom is going to be in the limelight. And this, I've heard this from many people. I'm like, where the fuck are you guys getting your information from? Like, God forbid, Gavin Newsom. But I could see that as being a possibility. Like him being the front runner.
Did
in running.
Paranoid's Big D Energy kill the Michael campaign? That was quite the spell, Thomas.
I'm hoping for
I tell
Kamala
everyone,
Harris
it's
campaign.
Michael. It's Michael. Everyone.
Is
I don't care if they're
Michelle
totally
running or
normie.
no? Is Michelle gonna
Well,
run or no?
that's
Michael?
like my
It's a
Maria's
little late to
like
launch
theory.
it now, right?
I don't know.
Is it? I don't know.
It seems like
I
it would
think-
be late. I don't know. What's the latest someone joined a presidential campaign and still had a chance of winning it?
Well, there is a thing that Donald Trump said, I'm not worried about the 25th when they first pulled the 25th and they were
Yeah.
going to try to use it. He said, I'm not worried about the 25th. It'll come back to bite him in the ass. They're going to use it on Biden, not me. Because you guys have to remember, I'm from the timeline that we are in Hillary's second presidency. Biden is not supposed to be there at all. This is their desperate fallback. So much so, they needed Bernie to run again, stay in the election till the end in hopes of passing all that coughing, dying Bernie gasp over to Biden. And that's pretty much, they had to like do it with rescinding a whole bunch of elections. And that's why they said everyone show up to the ballots, because they had it all planned that China was going to mail in a certain amount of ballots for the election. That's also why a certain amount of shipping containers weren't allowed to come on shore. And so when too many people showed up to vote, real human beings, they couldn't fake that many votes. And that's where you get a whole big kerfluffle in places like Arizona, that their ballot still for 2020 is not finalized. Neither is Georgia's election, but your news is never going to tell you that. There are 4 countries or 4 states in this country that their 2020 election still isn't finalized.
So can you blame people in Arizona for being a little black-pilled about voting? I mean,
Yeah.
the fuck?
Well, a lot of them, so many of
What do we
them
do?
now, if you look up the
Does it even
volunteer
matter?
rates of poll watching, that's where we have to take part. Think about in your town, you decided to let a computer, oh, this is so much better than a poll
Educate your
watcher
kids?
and a pencil. And so then you have to take part in watching your polls. That's what we all have to take part. You all have a camera in your hand. So you just take part. What's the harm of sitting there for a few hours? If you really care about your mayor, your sheriff, or your city council, your school board, screw your president. These elections that come up all the time, your property appraisal could be somebody voted in that in less than 2 years, they can make it completely unaffordable for anyone that works in your town to live there anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And then they have China and Saudi Arabia come in and buy up all your property, all your farms, all your land. And then what? And that's what's happening over and over and over again.
There was I can't remember the name. There was a documentary I saw recently, which is probably propagandized, but they were showing, I think it was in Arizona, where China and Saudi Arabia are buying up huge
Oh, yeah.
swaths of land, and they're
It's Arizona.
drilling into aquifers, and they're taking all the
Mhm.
water, and they're basically growing crops and then sending all those crops overseas. And the people that actually live in the area and like the farmers, like one of the guys was saying that these foreigners have come in and taken so much water out of the natural reserves and the aquifers that it would take like 10 lifetimes to ever replenish it again. And essentially what they're doing is they are extract the same way that the US will go over to other countries and like take their natural resources, and now they don't have it anymore. That's what like China and Russia and a few other countries are using that against us. And there's really no recourse because the governments are the ones doing it. And there was this one lady that her pension fund that she was counting on to provide her retirement was investing their money in China coming over to her neighborhood and taking the water out. So it's like the money that she's planning to retire on is being built on the fact that there's not going to be any water for her in that entire region. So like it's going to turn it into like an unlivable area. I think it's wild that they're like turning that script on us a little
Desert.
bit.
They've supposedly reversed that with the Saudi Arabia company that's between Casa Grande and Phoenix. It's between Tucson and Phoenix.
But I understand the damage
And
has already been done.
It's already been done. It doesn't matter what they do now. It's already, all the water's gone.
That's also their really clever idea. It's there's color revolutions, which are one version of how they take over a whole country. But something they do clever with us is they almost pop culture color revolution, where they just make somebody very popular in our zeitgeist. And like that's how Obama got voted in. Oprah was like, "I love this guy," and we were like, "Us too. I'm not racist. Look at Hope." And so we voted for a black guy is essentially what happened. So you could prove to somebody, look at this really shows America's changing things. Oh my gosh, you guys, everybody,
Do
every
you want to
single
tell
one
your
of you.
grandkids that you didn't vote for the first black president?
I did not vote for Obama. And every one of you that did, that mocks a Karen now, that was you being a little Karen. Like we only mock what we once were, and that
No
was
more
you
racism.
being, I'm not racist. My dad is racist. And so you voted for Obama to let everybody know you weren't racist. You did no research on Obama while I was handing out um, discs in Portland, Oregon. That were, like none of you knew who Obama was.
There
Well,
might
I
have been
was
a subset of people that voted for Obama explicitly because they thought there was a chance he'd get assassinated, being higher profile. So there's probably a non-zero amount of like
Ooh,
hardcore
because
racists that still voted for him.
they had
I
money
was
on
an
a pool of
immigrant.
some sort.
Yeah.
my sister like went off on me on the Hillary election because she's like, like, I cannot believe you did not vote for her. Like, women are so oppressed, and you needed to vote for her because she's a woman. I was like, I'm not voting for that woman. It's like she's not a good representation of what a woman is. She's like, I don't understand. I was like, do you not follow the money trails? I was like, go and research where her money is coming from and tell me that she's the right choice. Like, I cannot believe people's reasons for voting are so like, you should vote for her
Infantile.
because she is a woman. You should vote for him because he's a black man. Like,
You're racist. You voted for Donald Trump. You're a racist. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Like, where? Show me. Like, before he ran, like, he was all over black entertainment everywhere. They wanted him in his rap music, in his videos, in his shows, everything. So,
it was weird because
yeah.
I listened to like him at the first debate when he was first running, and I recorded it. Okay, so I watched it the first time, and I loved listening to what he said, and I was like, "Oh, this man is really wonderful." But then I rewatched it, and when I rewatched it, I like got the freaking craziest vibes. I was like, "Oh no, something is so fucking off. How did I not like?" There was a spell. It was a broadcast, you know. And the second time I caught it, and I was like, "No, there's no way in hell I could vote for this man." Like, it was so off.
I did too. You're talking about the Obama commercial?
No,
Yeah, it
like
creeped
his
me the
first,
fuck
it
out.
wasn't
Look
even
at
his
somebody
commercial.
didn't vote for
It
Obama,
was
but
the long.
voted for Romney as some flex. Like that wasn't the other option that you had to go with.
Yeah, I was always
Sorry.
independent. I didn't vote red. I didn't
I've
vote
been an
libertarian either,
independent
but
voter forever.
yeah.
I was forced registered Democrat at a Dave Matthews concert that I was forced to go to. And so the whole entire thing, when they were like, "Do you want to register to vote?" I was like, "Oh, this will save me a trip. Sure, I'll fill out this paperwork now." And they switched it to Democrat, those motherfuckers. And so then I was always an independent registered voter. I never voted for either of the two parties. And it was so infuriating to me. But then I realized in Florida, oh, you can vote in the primaries of the other party being a registered Democrat. This is kind of fantastic. So
I low key was a Bernie fan when I was younger. I was like, what? Yeah, fuck
you felt
yes.
the burn.
Yeah, I felt it at a point. And what was the Green Party? The lady, I forgot her name.
Jill
Jill Stein.
Stein.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
I
loved
voted for
her.
Jill Stein.
I love that crazy guy. What was his name? Ron Paul. I loved Ron Paul.
I voted for Ron Paul one of the
Yeah.
Obama times. One time I was so like, this is happening. And I wrote in Jesse Ventura. That's all disgruntled.
Hmm.
I
Jesse
think they should
Ventura.
legitimately have a no confidence option for every
Hmm.
category so that people could legitimately vote no
I
confidence and
agree.
have that be
Hmm.
tallied and shown so that if somebody does win, you could see that like, oh, and our new president is with 30%, but who really won was a vote of no confidence for 40%.
I
Mm.
think that I love the no confidence, and I think it should be a box in every category. And so, anything, if you showed up and you didn't want to vote for anyone, you were at no confidence, no confidence, no confidence, no confidence, no confidence. And, but
That would get me to vote.
and you showing up for this is kind of some of the shitty part, but it's real life. The money is decided where to go in your state by how many of you show up to vote. So
Really?
yes, that is the number one thing. So when FEMA
Ah.
comes and helps you, the reason FEMA doesn't come and help New Orleans fast is because nobody votes in Louisiana. The reason that FEMA trucks are lined up until the cows come home in Florida is because everybody votes here. And
Mm.
so if you show up to vote, they're going to show up to help you. And when the closer the natural disaster is, this is why hurricane season is always great for Florida or Texas or these areas, because it's always right up. Summer is always right up against the line of Red October, which, by the way, there's a missing Russian rogue submarine. That's not a QAnon post, by the way. They didn't say anything about Hunt for Red October. This is, but yeah, this is why these kind of natural disasters at summertime for California always lights the state on fire, because they're always right up against Red October, so they can run into November elections.
So check this out. Last weekend, I drove by the park in my little town, and FEMA was set up there with the big old freaking trucks and flags and stuff. Like they're doing like a presentation or something like that. And I was like, this seems ominous. Like, are we going to have a freaking tornado come through and destroy the town before they rebuild to build this theme park?
Oh, that seems perfect. That seems
It-
just like
it
what they
does.
like to do in
Because that's what happened in Pitcher, Oklahoma, which isn't far from here. Pitcher was like a mining town. It's where they mined a whole bunch of I want to say lead. Like they would mine lead from the ground and everything, and it was allegedly polluted. So the government came through and was buying people's plots of land. Like anybody who wanted to be bought out could be bought out, but a lot of people held on. Then all of a sudden, a fucking massive tornado comes through Pitcher, and Pitcher was fucking destroyed. So all the people who didn't get bought out freaking lost out. But it's gone now. Like it still exists, but it's technically a ghost town. Some people still live there, but it's just chat piles, like the remnant from mining lead and stuff. It's fucking wild. Like this lady I work with was just telling me the story yesterday, because she had a house in Pitcher and she didn't sell out, and it was completely destroyed by tornado.
Oh man.
And this is the new Heartland theme park. I hate when it does this to me, and I'm like, am I in the middle of a commercial? This is the new $2 billion theme park that's called Heartland, that they're putting right in the middle of Oklahoma. And it's all Disney designers that are there, but it's just so you guys know, it's not Disney.
No,
Every
22
single
Imagineers
designer,
are making it.
Yeah, single thing about it, but just so you guys know, it's not Disney. But Thomas will tell you how Disney works, and how they bought up Florida is pretty much by this exact same way. Because once people find out a big conglomerate like Disney's coming into their area, it's never good. It's never as good as it seems.
Especially in a red
so-
state. Like I think they would have fought it harder. Though it kind of was all under the table deals.
That's exactly how they did
That's how
it
they do
in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, the in Florida, Walt Disney basically set up a bunch of like shell companies and then hired people to be the faces of those shell companies. So there's like 6 or 7 of them, and they all independently at different times start buying up plots of land. A, so competition doesn't know. B, so the people can't revolt. But the main reason that I understand it was just because Disney didn't want any sort of like bidding war. He didn't want people to start raising prices on land that looked like it was just garbage swampland. Because if you knew that Disney wanted your land, well, now you can 10x your asking price,
Yeah.
and that was the
Oh,
last thing they wanted to do.
And that's
Wow, motherfuckers.
I saw that the FEMA set up at the park, and I was like, this feels like Pitcher, Oklahoma, and especially because the Pitcher, Oklahoma conversation just happened yesterday. So this is like a week later. I already had the feeling like, is a tornado going to rip through this town now? Like, it's just weird to me. It just seemed like the perfect setup for them to freaking come in and build how they want to.
Well,
And
I
they
think it's
annexed all this
possible
land
to
to the
do that.
city that wasn't even a part of the city. Just that was voted on a couple months ago.
Well, hopefully you just acknowledging it just now, like breaks that timeline.
Yeah, well,
If not,
But-
at least I called it first. So
yeah. I do believe they can target towns now with all the technology
Well,
that
they
they
do.
have, for sure. Like,
why
if they
were they
wanna,
buying up that whole city and then fucking not everybody was selling out, and then they fucking level it? Tell me that wasn't manufactured.
Oh, for sure. And then
I always find this is always the first thing I start to research now. Like my little clues have changed a little bit. And so I'm like, Heartland, Oklahoma. And this is what I question why they wanted here. So I'm like, why does Disney want to move into Oklahoma? A Chinese underground society once existed in tunnels under Oklahoma City. And so I'm like, oh, look
Whoa.
it. So you'd be digging
whole
to
city.
China.
Yeah.
And it was a whole city underground. And
Nobody
we know
even knew about it.
Damn, this is
every
like
Isn't that
that movie
wild?
Parasite, but like an entire city instead of one house.
Yeah, it was a whole Chinatown under Oklahoma City.
What
Well,
year did it date
Secret.
to, supposedly?
we just gave every podcaster a new topic to talk about.
Oklahoma's trippy.
Yes. Go
I
off with
tell
your little
everyone
pet
this
theories.
is something. It doesn't matter your state. It doesn't matter your country. You can put in aqueducts. You can put in sewer systems. You can put in ancient tunnel grounds. You can put in ancient mines. Everywhere has them, and they're all for human
Yep.
trafficking. Sometimes they like to teach us about them, and they like to tell us about how slaves were rescued with these tunnels, not trafficked with these tunnels. It is a ludicrous idea to think that Harriet Tubman and it was an underground railroad, you guys. Isn't this so cute how slaves were free? Nope, that's how people are still trafficked to this day. No one was freed by underground railroads. They're still El Chapo'd with underground railroads.
And what's trippy is, the map that shows all the underground tunnels and stuff in the United States runs right through fucking this town where Heartland will be.
Hmm.
And we know that Disney is like part of the human trafficking ring, big time.
Gotta have the tunnels.
There's like, it runs like diagonally through Oklahoma, but right here at the northeast corner.
Yeah, Disney. Sus as fuck. They had a Walt Disney in the Wax Museum. It was crazy because you like walk in, it's like Walt Disney, and then you like turn a corner and it's like Thomas Edison, and then you like turn a corner, it's Albert Einstein. And I'm like, these three guys need each other to make the other magic exist. It's the same. Disney magic is part of rewriting our history, our belief system of space, of electricity, of all the stuff. And so it was interesting walking through with people that are educated by what the Rockefeller education system tells you. And I'm like, look at it. It doesn't say anything about Edison electrocuting an elephant. There isn't
Oh, yeah.
one Nikola Tesla in this whole place. Like,
Poor
it's
Totsky.
crazy.
Edison also is the reason why Hollywood moved to where Hollywood is right now. It started, I think, in New York or New Jersey or
Jersey,
something like
New
that.
Jersey,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it moved. He was the reason why it moved to freaking Hollywood. And it's just like, what the fuck? Thomas Edison, the fucking guy who's responsible for electricity, is moving Hollywood to
Well,
Hollywood.
and one of the very first Hollywood movies that ever had Satan in it was Mephisto and Marguerite, and that was filmed by Thomas Edison. So he's also the first Hollywood director that brought a movie about Satan into Hollywood.
He's a
Wow.
psyop. Oh
And
my
he was
God.
trying to bring light, a false light. That's what Edison's known for. And so
He's
he
the
also
Antichrist.
then makes a
Artificial light.
Hollywood movie, which now every time I hear the word Holly, I only hear the word holy. So I'm like, how is it not Hollywood? And it's the same as the Holy See not being the Holly See, because it's all their weird. Then that word holy or Holly, I'm like, are they just talking about tunnels? Like Holly's supposed to be
Plausible.
electric. That's the reason the Holly's represented everywhere. And holy is just saying Holly. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just a psyop. He was the Antichrist of the time back in the day. That's what I believe. A psyop and a half, the fake.
Well, he was just like Elon Musk.
Here's the
Essentially.
light. Uh-huh.
That was my understanding, is that he was like an Elon Musk kind of character where he like understood it, but he would just buy other people's inventions and hire other inventors and put them under his name and then take all the credit for it. So
Henry
people
Ford
equate
too, though.
Edison with genius.
We used to
Henry
say that.
Ford did not do anything. He just hired people to fucking create the idea.
God,
he did
just
the
saying their
assembly line.
names. Just saying their names keeps them alive. Just saying it aloud. I get that whole concept. When the last person speaks your name on this realm is when you fully die.
Yeah, your second death.
Yeah, no, your final death. There's I think 4 deaths in Mexican culture. They talk about it, or 3 deaths, I think. Once when you're born, because you're born to die, and then once when you die, like when you actually die, and then once when the last person says your name on this realm, that's like your final death. Like you're no longer alive, or your name is no longer alive. That whole concept, when you think about it, because we do technically keep them alive. I don't hear you, Chaney.
That I was just like, that sucks if your name's like John Smith.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna die sooner than Thomas
Mhm.
because it's less likely that somebody's gonna say Chaney than Thomas. Like poor Thomas. Like every time
Well, my
Thomas
last
is
name
brought up.
is messed up. So,
But do you
So what
just
happens
hear
when
it
you-
partially, like a light whisper if it's just
do
Thomas?
you name your kid Jesus and now like they live forever?
Well, my
Or
name in Arabic
when
means
you
night. So, like, night is always. So, if the Arabic language is forever, if it lasts, then my name will last for a long time. Layla. It means night. So,
My name means father. Abba.
Abba. Oh, I love that. That'll never die.
some old
Yeah.
lady at a Celtic thing told me my name was Keeper of the Eagles one time. I thought I was pretty charming as a kid. I don't know if it was true, but it was like, sounds cool. Yeah.
That's so true with
I'm gonna
so
go
much
with that.
when you're a kid.
The conversation today is blowing my mind because it's all the shit I've been thinking about either today or this week. Like, because even the
Yeah.
name thing, like, I was remembering this name poem that my mom bought for me, and it was like 4 lines. She did my sister and mine, and mine was, with song in her heart, she travels each mile, a light, joyous lass, always wearing a smile. And I was like, that is fitting for me. Like, I remember the poem for whatever reason, but like, I wake up singing a song every morning. This morning was, am I wrong? But thinking that we could be something for real. But every day it's something different.
So when you change your name, does that other version of yourself, like, does that person die because you're not using that name anymore?
What
Well,
happens when you dead name
so.
someone?
What
Yeah.
about women who change their name every time they get married? Like for me,
Or
that's been
when
3 times.
Dead name.
men change their name from being, man to woman. They're no longer that man. They take on that female persona then.
I'm changing my name soon.
Like if you dead name somebody that changed their name and they changed their whole personality and gender and everything, is that like bringing the old them back to life in some way? Because it's the opposite of like that third death.
Mm.
There's another thing with trauma.
Resurrection.
They say a lot of times trauma victims, they will create a persona with a new name. Like this happens to children a lot with divorce or like getting sexually harmed sometimes as a child. They create this new name and new persona, and then they grow up with it. And like all the trauma that was there and anything that happens, it's so separated from them that when they unravel it in any kind of therapy or talking, it always is an extra thing for them to start being called by their original name again. Like that's how when their trauma healing starts to happen is they start to be called by their like birth name. And so it's so interesting with the trans thing, how everybody takes on a new name. And it's just like they're almost trying to Monsanto themselves. Like we'll bankrupt that part of the company and no one will ever know. We're just moving on. And it's like, nope, you're still you. Like the shitty things you did, you still need to apologize for. Like the
Yep.
shames that you still have, the guilts that you still have, whatever it is, you still have those things. And you're still those. It doesn't matter what I call you today, Tawny Katane.
You're still a shitty person.
That really was a thing on Tawny Katane. On she's the lady, the redheaded lady on the white snake video. Here I go again on my own.
Here I go again on my own.
But she was on Dr. Drew Celebrity Rehab. That's the only reason I really know so much about this. And I always watch that show like it was a side show circus. Like, I don't know if we should watch anyone's rehab on television.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone
it's not
heals from
pretty.
rehab being on TV.
I
No.
wouldn't
That
think
is
so.
not helpful.
Because how are
Wait.
you gonna? You probably hold back a lot.
If you just watch
Okay, here's
Dr.
a
Phil like
story.
it's Jerry Springer, it makes way more sense to me.
Wait, what?
When I
Not Jerry
was
Springer.
Like it's basically just like a Jerry Springer show. Like they make it seem like it's there's therapy going on and they're helping people. It's literally just Jerry Springer though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Here, I got firsthand experience in this. When I was in rehab in 2018, end of 2018, there was some crazy ass meth broad that was on a reality show, one of those shows. So you had to get out of the way so nobody else was in there. So this show was being shot on this lady. The amount of crazy that was shown in this that was so unhelpful that seemed like it just ended up hurting her kids over and over and over again. Like it just, that kind of stuff is just has to be handled carefully. And like people's judgment of people going through those kinds of things is terrible.
Yeah, it
And
makes
when
them feel
you,
lower.
yeah, it does not help you, and people's judgment of you that is unfair while you're going through that process. It just sucks.
Yeah. Someone mentioned Dr. Phil, and I believe Donald Trump was on Dr. Phil in his most recent show, and he was trying to promote it. And every promotion of just saying Donald Trump, no, not even speaking about anything, just a promotion showing that he's going to be on his show, was taken down for violating terms and services on Instagram, on TikTok, and it's just crazy for no fucking reason. But he is on TikTok and people are loving it. What's that video about?
He was also born in my town.
Who?
Dr. Phil.
Oklahoma.
That was like our one claim to fame. That and like Guy Fieri did diners, drive-ins, and dives here. But now
That's funny because there's like no joke, there's like 10 of those in Orlando. The stupid
bet.
Guy Fieri like thing. Well, and because
Yeah.
he's got his own restaurants here too.
Oh, does he really? That's cool.
Yeah, chicken
Tucson
guy.
too.
Are they even
Orlando
good?
is such a vibe.
Yeah, I liked Guy. I
They're
love
not,
Food
usually
Network.
they're not really all that great now.
No.
Like the
Guy
ones that get his
Fieri.
little awards and stuff.
Do you know who my favorite TV chef is? Gordon
Dan Kim.
motherfucking Ramsay.
I like
Yeah,
Bobby
I don't know
Flay.
if I can.
He's my kin, I think.
I don't know why I like Bobby Flay.
I didn't like him. I hate his freaking
I don't.
lispy accent. And then I watched the
Yeah, I don't
Iron
like
Chef America, and when he jumped up on the counter and like offended all the Japanese chefs, I was like, yeah, that wasn't cool.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's obnoxious.
Oh, I like his style.
Obnoxious.
I in my celebrity worship, I was sad when Anthony Bourdain was red scarfed.
Yeah.
Mm,
He was a sad one. He was like a celebrity chef I really enjoyed.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the celebrity chefs.
Oh,
That was
look
like
at
a
it.
whole period of my life.
Oh man, there was this one dude, it was a French guy. Goddamn, he was like a rival to Gordon Ramsay for a while. He has like long frizzy hair that went down to his shoulders. Way better than Gordon Ramsay ever was. I'm gonna have to
Really?
find his name now.
You guys
Yeah.
see, I was of the generation though that we had the drunks on public television. Like those were our chefs. Like you guys know who Justin Wilson is? Or Martin Yan? Justin Wilson used to get on there. He was this Cajun guy, and he'd talk about taking a little bit of Burgundy for the Bagumbo, a little Burgundy for Justin. Oh yeah, yeah. You guys
Nothing.
don't know this guy? Nothing.
No.
My guy's
Slurred a
name
lot?
is
There was also so these guys would get drunk during the 70s. It was kind of public television was kind of a mess, and these guys would get drunk on the air while they were cooking, It was great. These guys would get all messy drunk. You can still probably find some of that. I can't remember the other guy's name, but Justin Wilson was fun. And Martin Yan. Do you guys
What about
know who
that
Martin Yan
woman?
is?
What about that lady?
Nutella.
Julia Childs, the
Julia,
There you
the
go.
CIA.
She was a
She was a
Yeah.
spy.
She was a spy. You know.
Julia Childs. Oh,
And could we maybe theorize that Julia Childs not just was a spy, but maybe was a man?
a man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's look at Julia Childs.
Look
Let's
at
pull up
Julia
Julia
Childs'
Childs
hand.
right now. And what
I'm
in
a
the fuck
girl,
was
I'm a
wrong with
girl,
our
I'm a girl.
entire parents' generation? Like, the more I think about the
Our
stuff
generation.
that they bought
Fuck.
into, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Like, Elton John, with like, they're shocked every time they find out one of their celebrities is a homosexual. And we're like, what? Look
Queen,
at this.
hello.
That's a spy, and that's not a man. What?
Let's check more pictures.
I even feel like that's why they do, like, there's the man who mocks.
I mean, they made a movie about her.
She does
Like,
even
it's a
sound like
psyop.
a man doing a fake woman's voice when she talks.
Yeah,
Is that why it
sounds
was
like
it
her.
was so iconic for Robin Williams?
I know he was
Mm.
probably just playing. They were like, haha, look how stupid they are.
Yeah.
Speaking of red scarves. Like, look at,
Yeah.
like, then this spy can go anywhere.
Weird.
I don't
Totally
know,
weird.
it's wild. I just feel like,
Mhm.
gosh, the TV could just convince our family of anything. Like, I took a picture in the wax museum with the earth behind me on the moon, and I was like, this is as real as the astronauts on the moon. And our family was like, they were like, this is real life. Look at it. How could it be fake? The president's talking on the phone. Like, everything that we think makes it ridiculous is the same things our parents used to validate it in their head.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind. It just fucking blows my mind. Like,
For
they just
real.
believe everything, like every dumb thing.
It's so
Like
bad.
the news.
I try to remind people. I was like, guys,
then
literally,
they get
don't
mad at you.
turn the TV on. Like, what are you doing? I know, but it's just great to like know what's going on. It's all
It's
like
not what's going
propaganda. It's all propaganda, y'all. Like, don't do it to yourself. But they're gonna still do it. I talk to my customers about doing it. Like, just don't do it to yourself. Turn
Like
it off.
Chaney always says, whatever the mainstream media is telling you, if they're telling you to look left, you should probably be looking
Look right.
right.
And
Or
so a
up.
big thing is because everybody, like, because we're all in the conspiracy realm, everybody's trying to put Donald Trump on the other wing of the bird. But it's
Mhm.
only because we're in the conspiracy realm. If we're out there watching the television, there's no Donald Trump on the bird. Like, they all, both sides of the bird hate Donald Trump. Like,
Yeah.
no one's a
Mhm.
fan. Anyone that said anything about Donald Trump got kicked off whatever their network was. So
Yep.
it's just like, there is something you're not allowed to talk about. And just because you're in the conspiracy realm, we're allowed, we've found ways to talk about it. So now it seems mainstream to talk about Donald Trump, but it's only because you're in conspiracy that it's mainstream.
Yeah.
It's really the only shot of a third party candidate, and he destroyed the Republican Party from the inside out and destroyed the Democratic Party by shooting at it.
Yeah. I mean,
don't
I got
know.
to see a dark side of
I was
the.
gonna say, please.
I know, and I
expecting
just
that.
think, like, the libertarians have, like, a gay guy, like, there. Like, the most of the libertarians that I hear now talking are all like, well, I guess we're going for Trump.
Yeah.
And it's like, how could you not, as a libertarian, somewhere go for Trump if the way that the Supreme Court gerrymandered for the first time in our lifetime, everything gets hit back to your state?
Love it.
Every single thing gets hit back to your state, as well it should, because we
It
should be
should.
living under 50 separate states. The idea of United States is the same as United Kingdoms, the same as a new world order. when we're 50 separate states, we're harder to control. That's why they want us to secede so bad. Because if we become the North and South, now there's just 2 separate states to control. That's why you have
Yeah.
the fake South creating in Austin, Texas right now with CIA Rogan and CIA Elon and the whole Austin music scene. Keep Austin weird, because one Austin can ruin a whole Texas voting demographic the same way one Portland ruined all of Oregon. And
One
that
Tucson
is what it's all
ruined all of
about.
Arizona.
Yeah, one Tucson ruins all of Arizona. One New York City ruins all of New York. It's really just one Chicago takes down a whole Illinois. One Atlanta ruins a whole Georgia.
One Broward County.
That's the only real thing that Florida has going for it that keeps it purple, is that Tampa and Jacksonville are so full of conservatives in a big city. This is where you guys, big city's trash either way that you go around it. And so to experience that, you can go to Jacksonville or Tampa, and those are conservative big cities, but they're such big conservative shitholes that it doesn't matter what happens to Miami and Orlando, because they're big enough shitholes to combat it. So it's just like your town. I don't know. If you come to my town, you'll be like, dang, how do I get real estate in this town? Because we vote here. But you keep not voting wherever it is you're at. And then every few years you write me and be like, Chaney, how do I move to your town? Because everybody's moving to my town. Internet friends in real life are my street. Like when
Even my town.
my internet friends in real life, I walk outside, they're across my street and next door. Because it's awesome here. Because people show up. People have guns.
I'll be there at some
Well-armed
point.
militia matters. And I do think that part of the reason I got so shadow banned for so long is maybe it's hard to be an insurrectionist and have a soap company. I was like, did I make myself Fight Club and not even know about it? So I was like, oh, here I am. Thought I was hiding it from the government all this time with the organic soap company. But really, it was a Fight Club where we were burning acid into people's skin. And you were like, I am Robert Paulson. Sorry.
Were you selling fucking rich ladies fat back to them in bars of soap, Chaney? Is that what you're trying to say here with the Fight Club?
Boom, boom, boom.
Ooh, I heard
4th of
it.
July's coming. You know I love
love
the
that movie.
47 and a 74 for a reason. Just kidding. Everyone in America. This is how
So-
little I don't believe in any of the whole thing. This is why I know the Buffalo Shaman's real, because I'm like, oh my God, if I had $1 for every time 30 men in suits showed up in my backyard trying to get me to tell you guys about it so I look crazy.
You know, I just recently, just now, went on the Ingrosso Lockwood website just because I haven't checked it in a very long
Oh.
time.
The what website?
The Ingrosso Lockwood website. Okay, so
Okay.
on the it's 2 different sites. So if you go on your phone, they have different links. If you go on your computer, there's different links, and sometimes there's a rabbit with a hidden image with a message on it. But in this link, it shows me the document from March 4th. The Supreme Court of the United States, Donald J. Trump petitioner Norma versus Norma Anderson, and it's like some kind of whole court case. And then another file shows the whole court case, or I guess what Jeffrey Epstein spoke about and what Ghislaine Maxwell spoke about when they were questioned in whatever lawsuit that they were in recently and before he died. So there's a whole 960 page document of what was said in the conversation about whom and what and where and why. There's a lot of shit in here, and also talks of the Ark of the Covenant and where it is. Like, it is fucking weird, this website right now. Like, I'm like, holy shit, like a whole documentary on the Ark of the Covenant and where it is, and a whole other page on like where it is. So it's like there's some kind of weird shit going on there with Donald J. Trump. But they said they don't believe in Q or QAnon, but there's some kind of tie there with this whole conspiracy of it all. Just interesting that it's there.
I think the Russian submarines off the coast of Florida right now are hella interesting. I think a rogue Russian submarine being the exact plot of the Hunt for Red October is hella interesting. I think the Hunt for Red October being such, if anyone out there knows how to look up something called the Q maps or any of the things that you might research and you just put in Hunt for Red October, it'll blow your mind. One day I'm thinking about like I might gross you guys out and pull up some stuff here. And but I sometimes wonder if the Q will get us pulled off YouTube because it used to get me in
wonder
trouble
that too.
before. When I had one of my very first podcast, I showed people on an episode how to research and use all the Q maps and research with all the numbers, and that was an episode that got me so taken down. And I was like, huh, I didn't even talk about anything on it. I just showed people how to use it. So I don't know. But I do think the Hunt for Red October and the fact that we're watching a movie and now, oh my gosh, aren't Floridians so scared? There's Russian subs right off the coast. And I'm like, Floridians are all like, but really Floridians don't hate Russians. If there was Ukrainian subs off the coast, we might be like, what's going on over there, you little gay Nazi?
Isn't that cute?
I
I'm
know.
Ukrainian
surprised that there's
sub.
not a qtube.com, and I just checked and it's available.
QTube.com.
qtube.com. They're charging 50 grand for it, but it's available.
Holy shit. There used to be a funny thing too. If you guys, here's like layers in. There used to be like when all the Q kids got in a fight with each other, and then there was a site on Instagram called the Psych Ward, but the Psych Ward had a Q spelling in it, and so it mocked all of us. Like every single one of us, any of us that were Q kids in the Psych Word, like found our old like rants and then would like attach them to new things. And it was really funny, some of us more than others, because some people said really silly shit with the dates and times and stuff. But the Psych Ward is pretty funny. If you guys can find it out there, I'm sure it still exists. And it definitely is worth taking a gander at if you ever want to go down an internet rabbit hole and be like, what is happening? And you'll be like, this is stuff you weren't even privy to. Why everybody else was just in lockdowns bored. There were full meme magic battles going on. People were not bored. People were not bored. You think drinking pee is new? No. This is a long battle. Oops. Dee. You're back again. You left and now you're back.
Yeah, I lost connection there for a second. Strange.
Should take care of some crickets.
As soon as I mentioned the letter.
The letter Q. Boink.
Yeah. Whoop.
I like to play with it more now. Q8 on. Because I'm like, oh, what are you going to do now? We know we're not allowed to say Fauci and all the things that get us pulled down. But I'm like, all the stuff we're allowed to say. We're allowed to mask suck. Masks suck. Q. Sandy Hook was fake. Sandy Hook's fake. North Korea is not real. Yeah, North Korea is not real. North Korea is not real. Like these are all the things that I'm like, I'm throwing pebbles in the water to see what will get me in trouble, since I'm not allowed to say anything about don't inject your kid with anything that has to do with high C or high fructose corn syrup. I know, isn't that funny? Like we could say that, like, oh my gosh, it's so don't let your kid play out in the sun without sunscreen. That we could say. And like that's just covering your kid in poison.
You know, if I'm on the beach and I see a man covering or slathering himself in sunscreen, it's like a hell no, I'm not dating that man ever.
Do you just
ever,
hear
ever.
when he's squirting it on himself? Is it just like douche? Douche.
I will never. I'm just like, ugh, pussy. Like automatically, I think pussy, like NPC. Like, not a man.
You're like, that guy listens to ASMR.
I have weird things that I just like weird like if everybody cooks, and you walk in first every time, no matter where we're at. And like I always think that I notice that shit. Huh. Somebody thinks they're the fucking king around here. They always grab their plate first, always make sure they get enough. I always notice that shit.
Yeah. It's
I
weird.
always notice those little weird things. Yeah.
Like I'll be like, oh, he's hot. And then he puts on fucking whole fucking layer of sunscreen. I'm like, ew, ugly as fuck. Like, nope. Bite. Not
Do you guys have
attractive.
sweet blood?
I think I
No,
do.
Like I don't
you
think
mean
all
like
people get bit by bugs.
I don't get bit by bugs.
I can't figure out what it is, but some people get
I think it's-
swarmed by fucking bugs and no-see-ums like mosquitoes and stuff, and other people don't get bothered.
I think part of it is diet.
I do too. I can't figure out what
Because
part.
when I used to eat shitty, used to get mosquitoes, and now that I eat clean, I don't get bugs like that anymore.
Mosquitoes don't bother me a ton.
They don't bother
Or
me
neither
at
do
all.
no-see-ums, but I'm an avid fruit eater. And I eat local fruit all the
me
time.
too.
So I was always wondering if like there's something about the
Interesting.
local fruit that is like telling the bugs icky. Like, nah. Where you'd think the opposite, because if you wear perfume, it like attracts bees or something to you. But I don't know. I was wondering if like some people eat too much meat and so they have a higher protein like content.
I just
But-
eat mosquitoes, and I think that wards them away because they smell the death of their own.
Well,
you just put a whole bunch of
takes a
cricket
lot.
heads.
It takes a lot of mosquitoes to make a steak.
Cricket
A
juice.
lot.
A steak, cricket tartar.
Ugh, God. That's fucking
Cricket
disgusting,
sashimi.
y'all.
What would be
can't.
the grossest if let's say the apocalypse happened, we have to figure out something to eat. What is the grossest thing you can actually think of eating? Like it's your birthday on the apocalypse, we have to make you something. What is where you're like, okay, we've gone too far.
That first
Urine.
baby tar poop.
Baby tar poop?
Yeah.
That's probably not as bad for you though.
Wait, what is the tar
I know,
poop?
but we're talking about like what would be like the grossest
first-
thing that you wouldn't want.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's a plug. It's not really poop. The first baby poop is more like a
I don't know.
evacuation of a
I don't
plug.
want it.
So.
Let's say an animal. Let's say an
But-
animal. It's something living, walking around.
Yeah.
We're at what's like an actual animal that you're like, I just can't. That like the texture, the everything. We're on fear factor. Whatever the thing is, what's the animal that you're like, no way, no day.
A jellyfish.
That seems easy. Like an oyster. Like
No, a
A cat.
jellyfish.
I wouldn't want to
No,
eat
a
a
jellyfish
cat.
This is a
For whatever
jellyfish.
reason, like the idea of eating freaking a pet animal, that's like disgusting to me.
Oh, your own pet? Oh my god.
your
And
own
your
Or
pet.
own
anybody,
pet.
but even a
No.
cat in general. I just see all
I
cats
could
as
do
like,
that.
I couldn't eat a cat.
I could. If
I
yeah,
could eat a cat.
I
Yeah,
think
I could eat a cat.
I could eat
toxoplasma does all that
pussy.
shit.
Oh, sorry.
A dog. I wouldn't eat like slimy fucking things. Like, ugh, I can't.
Slugs.
Whatever. Slugs.
That seems easy. Slugs and everything seem like an easy, like meaty
No way.
enough.
I can't even do oysters.
I've got one from an actual Fear Factor episode, and they made him eat an African cave spider, which is like bigger than your head, and it looks like it has these weird like crab-looking legs. I don't know.
I
That,
bet
that's
it
No.
tastes like crab. I bet it tastes like crab
I could do that.
I don't think it tastes like crab. If we had a guess,
It probably doesn't.
with a lot of butter. I bet it would. It would taste like crab.
You better drown that African crab spot in some butter.
That's
You
right.
haven't had it cooked right.
You
You
just
haven't had
gonna,
it cooked right.
you gotta cook it like home.
Do the curtains match the drapes?
What the hell is going on?
Leave it to Riggs to ask that question.
Who's
It's
he
hardwood
asking?
floor. It's hardwood
they do.
floor. It's hardwood flooring. It's wine barrel flooring. Stained grape wood. sealed. Ladies know what I'm talking about. They're like, "Oh, that's so nice. That sounds like a great floor." Guys are like, "What the fuck? Wine barrel flooring?"
You'll never know.
Mm-mm. That it's we don't even tell that to the rest of the group. Like in the LGBT whatever, you have it takes some level to get it takes the level to get to the L. Like not just
That's
anyone.
a
We
lot to
started the
say.
group.
LGBT.
That's why I just stop it at the L. I'm like, oh, I'm in the group called L. Everything after just seems like a man's perversion.
It's like a gayer Q.
Yeah, it's just lesbians are just women. And then everything after is just men being perverted.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Lesbians are just like, hi, we're just women. And would it be okay if we just love other women without getting raped and beaten? That would be great. Thanks. And then everything else, men were like, is there a way we can somehow get to children on this? I'm gay. I want to add myself to this L. And then the bisexuals were men that were totally gay, but then they were like, I'm bi. The buy now pay later plan. And then everything else after that just becomes perverse. Perverse, deeper and deeper. So I just stopped the club with the L. I'm gonna stay lesbians, old fashioned American lesbian. They don't need a parade. They just need a tool belt.
are we talking like Rosie the Riveter?
Flannel.
Yeah. They just need a flannel. They just need to feel needed.
And
They're
tool.
a great aunt.
So there's no old fashioned, just like gay guys.
Yeah, we don't have just gay guys.
Just a no,
Just
because they all
old-fashioned gay
died.
guys.
Dr. Fauci had
That's
all
true.
them killed.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah.
There was a genocide on old fashioned gay men. And all the others were quieted because everyone around them was killed by Dr. Fauci.
Dude,
so
That's something
there's
that
only old fashioned gay lesbians.
shaman went into today that I had never heard before because the most I knew about the gay culture and Fauci probably came from the first Real World when it was like Pedro and everyone Pedro died and everyone was in about the blanket. Like that was the
That was
closest I
the
knew
second
about.
one, by the way.
But he was saying about how there's something called perm, and it's like this drug that they get gay guys onto to kind of just prevent just STDs in general. But that he was making this claim that those drugs they used to give everyone is the thing that was causing all the problems. So there's this weird like causation correlation effect.
The cause is always in their cure. 100% of the
That's
time,
what he was saying.
the cause is always in their cure. It's smallpox blankets. All of it smallpox. Are you cold? Take these blankets. That's what all of it is. All
Are
of
you
it.
nervous? Take
It's
this drug.
something that normally happens to a human, and then they figure out how to glum on. So yeah, are you nervous? Are you sad? Are you sad because of having unaffordable eggs and not being able to make a living from the job that we brainwashed you into having from the university that actually gave you no information or education, but you're being told you're intelligent as long as you keep regurgitating CNN? Yeah, that probably makes you sad. So if you look at all the commercials on whatever news channel you take in, that's who you are by the algorithm. So if you look at all CNN's commercials, they're all for antidepressants. They're all for SSRIs, every single commercial. And if you look at all the commercials on Fox News, it's all statin drugs because those are all old people that are the same old people that believe we landed on the moon because the president called and they watched a video. So I
And if
just
it's
feel like you can
ESPN, it's
see.
testosterone therapy or replacement therapy and low T.
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, are you suffering from low T?
Here,
And it's
turn
like,
on
are you suffering
ESPN.
from low T because you're sitting in your lazy boy pretending you're
And
playing
drinking
football?
beer.
Even on like Sirius XM radios, all the sports channels are all low T stuff.
Yeah, and that's all Joe Rogan is him and somebody sitting there, and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, this light's bothering my eye a little bit. Oh, it's funny you should say that. Take a puff of this. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's just this new thing I'm working on with Aubrey Marcus for On It. Aubrey Marcus, the Fleshlight guy. Yeah. He's one of the CEOs of my company. He actually was one of the CEOs that stepped down right before COVID. You know, when all the hundreds of CEOs stepped down because they thought the market was going to crash. Yeah, he's one of those guys, but we're not going to talk about that. Oh, do you guys, short attention span theater, not remember the hundreds of CEOs that stepped down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like big
CEOs.
news. Like, what the fuck is happening? And
I know.
yeah.
No one remembers it. Like right before they killed all your natural pass. Or they killed all your natural pass. And then all the CEOs stepped down.
It'll be cool though, it's like to talk to like the younger generation, thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna be old one day, and like looking back, I'm just gonna say, do you know they try to lock us up? Do you know that we were locked up in our houses? Like they probably couldn't even fathom that idea. Like by the time I'm like 80 years old and I'm speaking to the new generations of like 6 and 7-year-olds, I'm like, what the fuck? The whole world was locked down? Yeah, it
So
was.
they're going to be like, you were allowed out of your house?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what
Isn't it
people,
dangerous out there?
Yeah. God
So
knows what
scary.
it'll turn into in like when I'm 80.
you were talking about like suntan lotion. There's
Mm-hmm.
legitimately people watching right now. You know who you are. You might lie. You might be honest about it. There's people watching right now that went and stood in line to get medical something done that we're not allowed to talk about on this channel so they could travel. But then they're the same people that want to tell you that they'd live off grid and take care of their family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
think about how long that really travel. I got in cars and traveled everywhere. I literally just drove places so I didn't have to play along or wear a mask on a plane. And it's
I
just
know.
like the idea that some people did play, some people made sure to play along and get a Fauci ouchie, even though for a future trip, they haven't even taken still.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. That blows my mind. Yeah, I took it because just in case, you know, like if I needed to fly out and one of my parents didn't, you know, like if they died or something, I was able to fly. I'm like, but what the fuck? Like why would you even think like that? You know, like what would make you think like, hey, they might die. Let me get my injection so I can go see them. Like,
Why would it have mattered if if somebody was sick and dying, you couldn't see that person anyway?
yeah, behind a fucking plastic screen. Yeah.
You don't want to make it worse.
People were hugging each other through plastic film with arm pockets. I'm like, oh my god, this is so
well,
fucking
even like
retarded.
people like, oh, we went to go see the grandparents, and my kids just sat there crying because we just had to say hi through the glass. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? Seriously?
What the fuck? And so it's so real hard for me. This is another real thing too. We're not all the same. And so it's crazy when we're out in society and people are like, oh, well, it's over. Let's just go on. No, because we're all the people that have to make the decisions. And we need to let people like me make decisions because you were wrong the whole time and I've been right the whole time. So at what point are we going to stop? See, this is where I think fairy tailing needs to stop for everybody. Like, you know how we all sit at tables and that one motherfucker sits down, uncle somebody that pretends he's the uncle everyone likes with the story no one gives a fuck about, and everybody else remembers the past differently, but everybody lets him fucking retell that fucking story even though we all know it's not true. These are the fairy tale things we need to stop in our right now because that's our trauma not speaking up. And so it's the same as sitting in a little silent gas chamber of lie and letting that idiot rewrite history every time you see him. It's the same as the Hollywood thing. We need to stop that stuff in our real life, that we don't let Uncle so-and-so or Aunt whoever pretend anymore that their history is the right history. We don't let our parents pretend that that happened. We don't let our siblings anymore own some victimhood story they get to tell over and over again how we scared them when we were kids and that's why they have a drug problem. Like we don't let these little fairy tale stories lead up anymore even in our small life, and so we don't let them lead up anymore in the big scale. But these are the things that they're the uncomfortable conversation where it's like, no, that didn't happen that way. It's really because you're a drunk, but you're a drunk every single one of the holidays.
Yeah, but that's also called gaslighting.
Yeah. And then there's
Like,
people
can
like
you read
me who lived in these big cities, and a lot of people who moved from these big cities are seeing people on a mass scale. When you think about thousands of people who you see around you that are all playing part of this fucking game, it puts you in this like, yo, I need to get out of here. It makes you think that you're going crazy, but when you're witnessing the crazy happening around you, it's like, yo, they're going this way, I'm going right. So I was that black sheep with a herd of like fucking thousands of white sheep. I went the other way, and my other way was Florida.
And
That's why
okay,
many people moved.
in a place of a whole bunch of people, because voting doesn't matter, guess where all the people fled to? All the conservative places where people showed up to vote every time.
Yep.
That's where everybody ran to. Everybody fled
Yeah.
these liberal shitholes to run to my town and my state. In fact, my whole state got inundated with a whole bunch of fucking pussies that I'm like, please, good dear God, don't show up and vote in all your same shitty politics so you can shut down my park and schools the same way you did yours, so you can shut down my
Yep.
business the same way you did yours.
I
Don't
feel like
let the
that's what
cop try
happened
to
with
grab
Austin,
me.
Texas.
Yeah.
Like, because Austin's where all Hollywood's moving, so it's become super liberal, and Texas has always been pretty conservative.
Conservative, yeah.
But
That's
if they
how
tell you long
Tucson
enough,
became liberal, is because
It's
it
like
was
they're
a
all
film
leaving
industry.
California because they couldn't handle it anymore, but now they all want it to be like
Come and
California.
fuck up our town.
Yeah.
well, they told
But I didn't come
Texans
here
for
to do
how
that.
long? Everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Texans, Texans, Texans. The zeitgeist told you how great Texas were the same time they told you Florida man, Florida man, Florida man, mocking Florida man, mocking Florida man, mocking Florida man. And look at it now. Texas wouldn't be Texas without Florida man.
Yeah.
Look up Texas history. It was Florida man that went over to Texas to show Texas how to Texas.
Yeah. And like, be like me. If you know you're going to a conservative state, have that mentality of being a conservative. Like, don't go there and fuck shit up. I'm not here to like turn shit liberal. I'm here to respect what Florida is, and it's conservative, and I love that. That's why I moved here. I didn't move here to change it. I moved here because I love what it offered to me as a free human being. I loved it. I was here in the fucking middle of COVID, in the summer of COVID. Nobody was fucking wearing masks. It was rare to see people wearing masks. I was not
Yeah.
playing that
Remember
game.
how they were
I
like,
visited
look
them
at,
too.
they're all dying in Florida. Look at their numbers. Look at your guys' numbers. That
Nope.
ticker, same as your debt ticker, same as your population of the world ticker, all fake. If you show me a ticker, I'm going to show you propaganda.
Mhm.
Stop believing tickers, and stop arguing with other people with other articles you found that they gave you to fight with. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
Just use your
Everybody.
logic. Just use your logic. It's logic. It's all logic.
I feel
what's
like
the
use your
logical thing?
intuition.
Yeah.
Do you have intuition anymore? I feel like your logic's broken. You're all gay-tarded out there.
I don't think a lot of people have intuition because they try to use logic. Like, they don't necessarily go hand in hand. It's heart and mind.
Are they
And if you
using
don't,
logic?
well,
Because none of it was logical.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they think they're using their brain because that's what they're told. That's what the science says, right? Trust the science, but they're
Mhm.
not trusting their intuition either, is what I'm saying. And
Mm-hmm.
that's actually the greater knowledge sometimes. It's not what you're being told and what you're being shown. That is just processing through your brain, but processing through your intuition is a whole different level.
I couldn't understand it. Like every single restaurant had, this is the logic that and the intuition that they couldn't connect with. They had huge restaurants in New York City, and they were building tiny ass fucking restaurants outside and compacting everybody in these little fucking shitholes that they created outside of the restaurants while people were freezing their ass off and refused to seat anybody inside in these big, large spaces. That's when I said, okay, these people have lost their minds. Like they are not using
It
their
was
brains.
always about elitism, because eventually only rich people would be affording to eat, which means only money could take their mask off, and all the workers would have to be covered because workers aren't allowed to speak. And this would be the rule. It had nothing to do with the color of skin or a sex or in anything. It was all about money, and we were all being silenced because you're eventually less likely to open your fucking mouth if it's covered with something.
Yep.
Blessed is the fruit.
And they're
Yeah.
still doing it.
It's
Under his
totally
eye.
freaking handmaids. Yeah.
But you said Gavin Newsom. I think he is the opposition to what the media tried to make DeSantis. But we didn't let it happen. This is where I do believe it doesn't really matter black, red, blue. If you're kind of woke, even if you're a little close to woke and you just are like, whatever, I'm on my account and occasionally I do Epstein didn't kill himself. That little tiny part goes against the narrative. And so you're fighting, all of us together, these little ants are fighting a $1 billion propaganda machine. And somehow we're staying in front of it. Somehow we're making a joke about the thing before it gets here. Somehow when they kill one of our celebrities, we laugh and laugh and laugh. They're like, OJ Simpson died. And we're like, Chloe's dad? Like, no matter what the thing is they try to give us, they're like, Betty White died. And we're like, ha ha ha, we killed her. Like, it doesn't matter. They're like, oh my God, the world's going to stop for the Queen's Jubilee. No, we were waiting for her to die. We all thought she was dead. We were all like counting the days. Like, we had little. So it's like every one of their loosh fests that they keep trying to do again, with the exception of these weather disasters and these kind of false flags. Real people die. And that's where I do think your phones are a weapon. Saying stuff like where you see where people put out like, oh, look at, they're looking for crisis actors in my area. The second that's posted, they can't do that thing. I feel like you don't know what you're thwarting sometimes just by paying attention. And so it's just like, know the script. If you tell everyone around you what's going to happen in the movie next, hey, you guys, this sub Hunt for Red October, it's probably going to go missing. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it shot toward Mar-a-Lago. Crazy happens to be a building with 4 bomb shelters. Doesn't this seem like part of the movie? I don't know, but maybe it's just me. I just think it's also crazy. We're not going to get to an election.
Probably not.
I don't see it happening either.
I don't think so.
It feels like the weirdest year ever for an election year.
Man, some of your states are broken still. How can you vote if you have Dominion machines?
I want the debates. I badly, no matter what happens, I really want to just see what happens if they have a proper 2-hour Trump versus Biden debate. I know that won't happen, but I want it to.
Oh, I feel like they owe it to us. If we want it bad enough, it'll happen because the most entertaining outcome is going to be the outcome. And so what would be more entertaining than frozen Biden on stage shitting his pants while Trump with his meh, stupid Joe, blah, blah, blah. And he's has all these one-liners is Joe shitting his pants over there? Because he'll just say cuss words. He knows when to drop cuss words all of a sudden where people are like, oh my gosh. And he'll be like, Hunter was arrested. There's probably kids on that laptop. And we're going to be like, oh, don't let Joe Biden sniff them. Oh, shit. I feel like I can see it all happening. But he can't be gag ordered. That's the Trump trial. He's under gag order right now until that goes through.
By the time that the debates are supposed to happen, AI will probably be good enough that we'll have plenty of AI debates to fill that niche.
Well, I'm sure they're already done.
Probably. Yeah.
I still think I have to pull it up again because it's still the fucking funniest shit in the world. And I think it every single time I hear any Trump impression now. I will just find it real quick. Let's see Shane Gillis' Trump impression. Sorry, I have to do this again to you guys at the end. But it's so good.
Anybody trying to figure out what language to use on Joe just to get him to stroke out?
Esperanto?
Just speaking Esperanto?
On Joe?
On Joe Biden.
Oh. Did you guys see him at the what's the black thing that we didn't know about until Juneteenth, at the Juneteenth concert?
He wasn't even blinking. What I noticed is he didn't blink the whole time. He's just like,
how fun.
I can't even go that long without blinking. Everybody else is blinking.
Maybe it was a drug that they put him on or something.
I think so.
Scopolamine.
Well,
You're just like wide-eyed the whole time. Like,
Okay, let's see. This is a different one.
Anyway, for real though, it was my favorite speech I've ever seen a president give. It was the night the United States killed the leader of ISIS. Trump comes out of the Situation Room at like midnight in the White House, and he walks down that fucking tunnel like and gives a press conference like he's giving a post-game NBA just killed a guy press conference. He walks up in front of the entire world at midnight and just goes, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. He died like a dog.
dude,
I can't.
that
Every
was
time
so
I see
good.
Shane Gillis if you guys ever like, Shane Gillis is the funniest guy right now. I think he's just like so good. But the Dave Chappelle requested joke of Shane Gillis's where he talks about Trump would be the funniest president to ever get assassinated because
Oh yeah, I
as
saw
the
that.
guy walked toward him, he'd be like, "Look at this loser, sit down, Gaylord," and like then he'd get shot and he'd be like, "Oh." Or like the noise he'd make afterward, but then he's like, the punchline of the joke is, "Don't laugh too hard because Biden's the only president that could be punch assassinated." Like you could just walk up to Biden with one good right, knock him out. Yeah. See, this is the other thing that I know that like somebody said something about Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman, that whole bullshit thing. Look at all the shit we said tonight. And everybody, look at all the stuff they fear you with. Like, you're going to have all these things. The FBI is going to be at your door. Nope. It's also you don't say these things. That's why they took Alex Jones off and said, "Hey, you guys, look at Alex Jones said this about Sandy Hook. You're not allowed to ask questions about it." That's what he was put there for. He was the Twin Towers of conspiracy. Put there, it was taken down on purpose so we'd all shut the fuck up. Look at the lawsuit. They're suing him for $1 billion. I don't have $1 billion. I just have a rat dog. And are you gonna sue me for secret society of good guys?
Yeah, they even
Look.
throw those videos around online of like FBI agents coming to people's doors about like Facebook posts about like presidents or whatever the case may be, or COVID or whatever. That was all part of the fucking psyop. Like those people were fucking agents working with other agents at their properties saying, "Hey, why did you post this? We're gonna arrest you," just to put that fear in you. But they spread that propaganda.
It all had to be done, even the wording insurrection, because that was the first way they were going to try to get Donald Trump to not be able to run for president. If you remember Colorado, that was the wording. A president can't run with an insurrection. It's not allowed to happen. It's coercion. It's by force. So that's why they kept picking that word specifically. He tried to have an insurrection, because that's a thing that a president can't run on. He can't run again. So that was why that word was picked specifically.
Wow.
But somebody did bring up Anthony Weiner's laptop. That is what I feel like. Screw Hunter's laptop. Anthony
what's on that
Weiner's
laptop?
laptop is still the one. Like, no amount of Hunter's laptops is going to make me stop thinking about life insurance on Anthony Weiner's
Whatever happened
laptop.
with that?
That all those
Okay.
cops ended up dying.
Did you guys think about this before? Like the nickname for Anthony is Tony, and if you go to Tony Wiener, it sounds like Tiny Wiener. That just kind of just came to my mind right now. That's where because I think dick jokes all the time, obviously, but that's exactly where my head just went, and I'm like, Tony Wiener, Tiny Wiener. Wow, what the fuck? Such a nasty name.
You know this whole setup. Their marriage, like House Assad with a Jew named Anthony Weiner. This is a setup from the beginning.
Seriously.
Whatever
Huma
happened to that
Abedi.
laptop?
Mm,
It's just there. No one's
I
like
don't know.
investigating it. It's done case, or they don't care.
It just disappeared, as far as
Oh
I know.
wow, what a coinkydink.
I still think a funny thing is that the Comet ping pong shooter, the QAnon, he shot into the Comet ping pong but hit the hard drive of the computer. Like that's
It's a
what
good
he
shot.
hit. Yeah, like
Pretty
out of
good shot.
everything.
So
Two
precise.
birds.
with a ping pong ball.
Huh? What?
I'm lying.
All right. On that note, you guys, does anything have anything to plug before we get out?
There's a New Mexico.
Thomas, what are you doing this week?
I guess I'll throw a new one. I just launched a Sound Scientists page on YouTube that has 1 subscriber, which is me. But I've been doing a bunch of the most offensive rap songs that I could find the lyrics for from like the 80s and 90s and redoing them as doo-wop songs. And it's just been my own personal enjoyment. But I love them so much. I've done NWA Straight Outta Compton. I've done Too Short's Cocktails. I've done Ghetto Boys Mind of a Lunatic. And I did Dead Body Man from ICP.
I love it.
Very nice.
I love it.
Very creative.
And Abby and her ping pong balls finished transurfing over on Blue Collar Mystics with Bootsy Greenwood. It's all done, so you guys can check it out there. Layla, anything going on this week?
No, not this week. No.
Gordy?
Haven't a clue.
You guys, we love you as always. We thank you so much for hanging out with us. You guys add to our week every week. And if you have any ideas for shows, head over, find any of us anywhere, like, subscribe, or just let us know. Who knows? Maybe we'll take one seriously and do a whole thing around it. So yeah, we love you guys. For any of you that happen to listen to this with coffee in the morning, tell those kids to be quiet and give mom or dad their break for a minute because you're hanging out with the good guys. Okay, we love you. Bye bye.
Love you.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe? Here comes Santa.
Constantly explore the room of possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, bigger mistakes, infotainment, calling linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, weirdos, mischief making. It's okay to change your thinking. Good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Mommy, I got my pasty. Please, and run to me and let me see. Oh, she's a bunny, y'all. She's a bunny this morning.